Well, hello, I've returned once more. Um, Today we're trying to play a deck that is very interesting and was recommended. So, anyways, this deck, I've done a little bit of research on it and I've played a little bit off stream, whatever you call it. The concept is interesting. I need to wrap my head around it. So hopefully in today's video we can learn a little bit more about it. And what are we talking about? We are talking about Skull Servants. So yeah. So anyways, if you don't know what's going on, I like trying every archetype. There's videos that you just won't see anymore, about archetypes that you may find interesting again. You may pick up the game after a certain amount of time of not playing. You might have a knack for something. You may find a card and be like, hey, I want to play this deck again. And we don't really bring that to light anymore. If it's not about, the meta or some wacky burn combo, then you won't really see much of that. So I just want to shed to light more archetypes, and hopefully we can play more than two decks, because there's a lot of archetypes out there. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoy that. We'll hop right into it, man. So we have Skull Servants. It's very interesting. Some people may already know what this deck does, but for those who don't know, I guess it's time to learn, because there's a new card that came out that helps the strategy. This deck will technically feel a little bit more powerful than the other decks. Like, we did Materiactor, since it only had 3 cards, it wasn't as strong. Skull Servants is an interesting deck with a lot of cards that have non-once returns on them. So we may be faced with a quite interesting combo. So just buckle in your seatbelts. Hopefully we can make a pretty competent strategy. And I want to get more games in as well. So yeah, let's try it. So what I like to do is first just search Skull Servant. I mean, as we do on Dueling Nexus, this is the site I'm on, which I play my games, duelingnexus.com. I just like looking up their name, then looking up cards that have it in their name, because that helps you find out if it is in the archetype or not. So if I pull up Skull Servant, this is what I'll find. I'll find Skull Servant. He's a funny guy. So, I mean, this level 1 dark zombie monster with 300 attack, 200 defense, a skeletal ghost that isn't strong, but can mean trouble in large numbers. I like to think he will mean a lot of trouble for us, so yeah. Then we have King of the Skull Servants, which is a level 1 dark zombie monster with question mark attack, 0 defense. Who has the effect that who has the effect that the original attack of this card is the combined number of King of the Skull Servants and Skull Servant in your graveyard times 1000. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can banish one other King of the Skull Servants or one Skull Servant from your graveyard, special summon this card. I see, so that's the strategy. So this guy's just a Skull Servant, this guy's the King. He gains 1000 attack for each King of the Skull Servant and Skull Servant in the graveyard. So that means copies of himself or Skull Servant itself, which that could be kind of strong. So we just need to find out what other cards mention that. So let's give it a peek. Let's look up. We go to the effects now, and then we're gonna find Skull Servant, because cards that mention Skull Servant may be helpful, and that's how you find your archetype pretty much. All right, we'll start off with White Princess, which is a level 3 light zombie monster with the effect that this card's name becomes Skull Servant while it is in the graveyard. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one White Prince from your deck to the graveyard. During either player's turn, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. All monsters currently on the field lose attack and defense equal to their own level/rank times 300 until the end of this turn. So right off the bat, what I'm seeing with this card is that it looks like, since its name becomes Skull Servant while in the graveyard, it can help boost the attack of King of the Skull Servants, which I do like. Also, it seems like a starter, because on normal spell summon it sends a White Prince from deck to grave, so that seems interesting. And then as a quick effect, it can send itself to the graveyard to decrease the attack of all monsters on the field. So I kind of see what they're going for here. And then since it's able to discard itself, if King's on the field, and then the White Princess quick effects to send itself to the graveyard, it reduces the attack of, monsters, and then also King of the Skull Servants gains an extra 1000 attack. So I guess the goal is to beat your opponents to death. I like it. I'm going to immediately add 3. Next, let's get into what is White Prince? Next up, we have White Prince, which is a level 1 dark zombie monster with 0 attack and 0 defense, with the effect that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Skull Servant and one Lady in White from your hand and or deck to the graveyard. You can banish 2 Skull Servants and this card from your graveyard, special summon one King of the Skull Servants from your deck. This card's name becomes Skull Servant while in your graveyard. Alright, so I see what's going on now. So if it's sent to the graveyard, send a Skull Servant and one Lady of White from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Then you can banish 2 Skull Servants from your graveyard. Oh, and this card. So you're banishing 3 cards, but it's fine because White Princess sends White Prince then white prince already sends 2 more cards and then banishes itself to send king. So I kind of see what's going on. Then this card's name becomes Skull Servant while in the graveyard. So I see what's going on here. I see the strategy. These guys by themselves don't do much because they're like 0 attack here, but I can see that they can get quite strong when the king is on the field. The king. So white prince facilitates summoning the king. White princess seems like a starter because it sends prince. Prince sends 2 more guys, then banishes all of them and itself to summon the king. My issue is that banishing the Skull Servants, King of the Skull Servants only counts Skull Servants in graveyard. So then we have to find a way to get them back in grave, and I think that's what they're getting to. So let's look for Lady in the White. Next up we have the Lady in the White, which is a level 3 dark zombie monster with 0 attack, 2200 defense that has the effect that face up level 3 or lower zombie monsters on the field except Lady in White cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, they are unaffected by spell trap cards and effects. This card's name becomes Skull Servant while it is in the graveyard. I'll be honest, this is my first time looking at this card. I mean, in the recording, but this card seems really strong. It doesn't really facilitate much of a combo, right? But in a general sense, this card offers an insane amount of protection. So this protects level 3 or lower zombie monsters, which is basically this whole archetype, you know? They're all level 3 or lower, so you want this card on the field, unaffected by spell, trap card, and effects. That is insane. Like, and then also they can't be destroyed by battle. So imagine they want to attack into a white princess with 0 defense, right? Well, this card says they can't be destroyed by battle. So I guess it's good to have Lady in the White on the field, King of the Skull Servants on the field for that extra attack, and one of these guys in your hand, either princess in hand or one of them. So that's really strong. I'm really liking this right now. I'm really liking this. It seems like the pieces are all coming together and you're about to beat your opponent to death. So, but let's talk about this banish thing. Like, they're banished. How do I get them back? And I think this card helps. Next up, we have White Mare, which is a level 1 dark zombie monster with 300 attack, 200 defense. That has the effect that this card's name becomes Skull Servant while in the graveyard. You can discard this card, then activate one of the following effects. Target one of your banished Skull Servant or White Mare, return to the graveyard. Target one of your banished Lady in White or King of the Skull Servant, special summon it. So I see this recurs banish monsters, which is interesting. So we need to find a way to play to this card's abilities, right? So it already becomes King of the Skull, it already becomes Skull Servant in the graveyard. Then you can discard it for free. You can target a Skull Servant or White Mare. So you can target itself or the vanilla. So it targets the vanilla or itself and then returns it to the graveyard. Or it can target Lady in White or the king and special summon it. So I see what's going on here. If White Mare's in your hand, you go Prince to send Lady in White plus Skull Servant. You banish all 3 to bring out the king. You bring out the king, and since White Mare's in your hand, you can discard White Mare to target Lady in White and then actually special summon it. So that's how you're going to get King of the Servants on the field, and then also Lady in White as like a free, it's protection, a free protective body. I like what's going on here. This is very strong. All right, this is insane. I mean, as an OTK strategy, I kind of see what they're going for. So for the first round, I'm going to treat it like it's an OTK strategy, because I like the concept a lot actually, so I'm really happy to be recommended this. And I really hope I can find a way to make this like super fun, because I don't want to stray away from its intended goal, but I can already see there are slight issues, but I'm going to explain those later. Next up, we have White Baking, which is a level 1 dark zombie monster with 300 attack, 200 defense. This card names becomes Skull Servant while in the graveyard. If a level 3 or lower zombie monster you control will be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can discard this card instead. If this card's sent to the graveyard, you can add 2 monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, except White Baking, that are either Skull Servant or mention it, then discard a card. You can only use this effect of White Baking once per turn. It is unfortunate, this card has the heart once per turn. I would like to add that King of the Skull Servants has a no once per turn, so you can trigger the effect a bunch of times. Even White Princess, your starter, is not a once per turn, so you can trigger this effect again if you just find a way to bring it back on the field. White Prince is a non once per turn, so if you find a way to send him to the graveyard a bunch of times, you're Gucci. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that White Baking, which is also a pretty good starter, sadly, you know, it's unfortunate. But I see King of the Skull Servants is an archetype that is dealing with lower level zombie monsters, so, because it would protect it. If a level 3 lower zombie monster would be destroyed by battle card effect, discard it instead, and then if it's discarded, So like, I can see what they're going for here. I can really see that. I can see what they're going for. Next up, we have the new card that came out that I think is like actually busted in a half, which is the reason why I thought about it as well. White Lord. Dang, I kind of made that T a little bit too hard. But anyways, White Lord, which is a level 1 light zombie monster with the effect that this card's name becomes closer from one in the graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of White Lord once per turn. If you have Skull Servant or King of the Skull Servants in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Send cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Skull Servant and King of the Skull Servants in your graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Skull Servant or King of the Skull Servants in your graveyard, special summon it. Now, what is very interesting about the graveyard effect of this card is depending on what of the other cards you have in your graveyard, they are all treated as Skull Servant while in your graveyard. So it sends itself, mills a bunch of cards, then you can special summon any one of these guys if they're in your graveyard. So that's very interesting. Now, it's unfortunate that it's a once per turn, but I'm gonna let you know this is a very interesting archetype. This is very interesting. Like, there's a lot of potential to, well, I'm sorry I'm so hyped right now. Non-once per turns are quite crazy to build around, and this deck has a lot of potential to get really crazy. Yeah, these are fusion guys that require Skull Servant, the vanilla, don't worry about them. Alright, so this is our in archetype. As we can see, we don't have any spell cards or trap cards associated with this archetype. But the category zombie is very, very lenient and very fun. So what we can do, we can make just a normal in archetype deck and do test hands, because since this is a new strategy, it may be a little bit difficult for me to explain what these cards do. Like, I can tell you, but I need to show you. And I can't just jump straight into like a different build of it. So what I'm going to do is just add a couple of fluff cards, and then we can make the strategy work. It's just going to be fluff, it's going to be in archetype, so we can learn how the deck operates. Alright, so here's what I have for now. I've added cards that may be in the final build, but this will facilitate and help make a pretty good strategy for the whites. Now, why'd I call them the whites? I don't know. We added it, you know, I looked normally into your limited cards, right? You want to fill up the archetype. Limited cards are just good generic cards that can help your archetype out, that don't really interrupt the play or try to make something different out of it. So that's why I just add them. I can explain those. Then we have a couple cards that may help make the zombie strategy better, because the zombie typing really likes to have combos. They deal with synchro summoning, XZ summoning, link summoning a lot. Like, it can get truly out of hand, but I still want to like keep the heritage and the ideology of Skull Servants intact. So it's going to be my duty to try to make this a going second deck without making it too much of a going first deck. But to do that, we need to make it so we can consistently provide ourselves with a way to make the game work. But for now, let's just explain cards that we may go over, that we may need to go over, just to help folks understand. And we're going to do a lot of test hands here until we get this down packed. You can copy this deck if you want to learn Skull Servants. I recommend it. Could be fun, to be honest. Good old deck that you just don't see people playing. So I'm really a fan of this idea. We already went over like the in archetype cards. Now let's go over a little bit of these interesting pickups. We have the key to the zombie strategy, in my opinion, Unizombie, which is a level 3 Dart Zombie Tuner monster with the effect that you can target one face-up monster on the field, discard one card, and if you do, increase the target's level by 1. You can target one face-up monster on the field. You can target one face-up monster on the field. Monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn except zombie monsters. Also, send one zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, increase that target's level by 1. You can only use each effect of Unizombie once per turn. Now, people can already see by reading this that this is probably pretty strong. Now, imagine there's cards in our hand. Unizombie and White Princess would be good starters. By starters, I mean cards you would want to use your normal summon on. Since you only get one normal summon, it's probably good to use it on these two cards. And I have some crazy plays I'm going to do later. But White Princess is good because it immediately starts your combo, sending White Prince to send Skull Servant plus Lady in White, banishing all three to bring back King of the Skull Servants. Then if you have a White Mare in your hand, you can discard itself to bring back Lady in White. Like, that's insane, right? Unizombie kind of does the same thing, but even stronger, I think. And here's how. So Unizombie, when normal summon, you know, you can feel free to do it, right? It can target itself. It can discard a card if you want. So let's imagine there's a card you want to discard. What if you want to discard a card you want in your graveyard, right? Like, I don't know. It can discard White Prince. It can discard White Baking. And then also it has the other effect. So these are two effects, right? One of them's to discard and change its level. And then the other one is to send a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard to change its level. And that's the really strong one. It's really potent. Because Unizombie can target itself, send white bacon to the graveyard, then increase its level by 1. So Unizombie, target itself, send white bacon to the graveyard, increase its level by 1. Then after that, white bacon, when sent to the graveyard, can add white prince plus another monster. You want to add white lord probably, and then have to discard a card, right? So it would add white prince, white lord. You can discard whatever card you may want, right? You can discard white prince. White prince can send skull servant plus lady in white. You have white lord in hand, which means that you have white baking, white prince, lady in white, and skull servant, which is 4. Then you can use white lord's effect to send itself to the graveyard to mill 4 cards. And then you can mill one of these cards, which is I'm going to get into, but you can already see it's going to get crazy, right? So Unizombie is just an insane starter. Next up we have Mizuki, which is an even funnier card, which is in like every zombie strategy, because let me explain. Alright, there's this limited card called Monster Reborn. We already know what it does. Targets a monster you get special summon it, but Mizuki is a level 4 Earth Zombie effect monster with 1700 attack, 800 defense, with the effect that you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one zombie monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. That's kind of broken. It's like Monster Reborn. Let's imagine you mill a bunch of cards off a White Lord. Mizuki can special summon any one of these monsters because these are all zombies, right? So imagine being able to special summon any one of these monsters from your deck that can facilitate your plays. That's why this card's so strong. And it is a non-once per turn. So that's why in the first episode, I taught more about once per turn and non-once per turn, because you'll see a lot of it being brought up. And since this is brought up, I don't have to explain it as much because you already know. So this card's strong. Non-once per turns are normally very broken unless they're on not good card effects. But this one's broken. Next up, we have Gozuki, which is really interesting. It is a level 4 Earth Zombie monster with 1700 attack, 800 defense. Wow, just like Gozuki. With the effect to, during your main phase, you can send one zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard. Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. If this card's sent to the graveyard, you can banish one zombie monster from your graveyard, except Gozuki, special summon one zombie monster from your hand. You can only use each effect of Gozuki once per turn. Now, Gozuki is not as strong as his brother, but technically, it's like Unizombie and Gozuki. Oh, and Mizuki. Because Gozuki can just for free send a zombie monster from dead to the grave. That's amazing. Then if it is sent to the graveyard, I don't know if White Lord tries milling with its effect, then you can banish a zombie monster and then special summon a zombie monster from your hand. So imagine we are stuck with the King of the Skull Servants in hand. White Lord mills all these cards and it mills Mizuki. Then we can banish a zombie monster and then special summon King of the Skull Servants. And who knows how much attack he'll have. Who knows? So that's insane. Next up we have this card, which is really fun for the strategy, because you can tell that a lot of these monsters are level 3 or lower, and most of them are level 1, so you can kind of see what I'm getting at here, right? So we have 1 for 1, which is a normal spell card with the effect to send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon one level 1 monster from your hand or deck. Now, that's kind of busted, and here's why. So this is not only the ability to special summon a level 1 monster from deck, which is most of our deck, it also allows you to send a monster from hand to grave. So we want White Bacon to be sent to the graveyard to trigger its effect, to add 2 monsters that mention Skull Servant. We want White Prince to be sent to the graveyard so that it can trigger its effect to send Lady in White and Skull Servant. We want to send Mizuki to the graveyard so that it can banish itself to special summon any zombie monster we want. We want to send Gozuki to the graveyard so that it can banish a zombie monster and then special summon any one of these guys from our hand. So 1 for 1 at worst is like a +2, and then at best it can facilitate our full combo, but we would need extra deck monsters for that, and I may get into that a little bit later. Next up we have, Foolish Barrel. Send one monster from deck to the graveyard. I mean, I'm not going to explain that one because we already know it. We know how broken that is. Imagine we got some guys in grave, but we need a way to summon it. Oh, we can just send Mizuki, and then Mizuki can special summon one of these guys, like White Princess. So you kind of see what I'm getting at, right? Card Destruction is a normal spell card that has the effect that both players discard as many cards as possible from their hands, then each player draws the same number of cards they discarded. Personally, not a fan of this card because it interacts with your opponent, giving them the ability to draw into cards that you don't want them to see. Like imagine they brick with their cards in hand, you go Card Destruction, you discard 5 of their cards, and then they draw 5 cards. Not that great, but it gets cards in our graveyard, and it'll do for now, so that's why I have it. Next up, we have Reasoning, which I like this card, it's interesting. It is a normal spell card with the effect that your opponent declares a monster level from 1 to 12, excavate cards from the top of your deck until you excavate a monster that can be normal summon / set. And if that monster is the same level as the one declared by your opponent, send all excavated cards to the graveyard. If not, special summon the excavated monster, also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. So I know this sounds like a lot, but basically, your opponent declares a level from 1 to 12. They may not know what you're playing, and this is where it's important to know what deck your opponent's playing, because they're going to activate this card. They're going to call a number like 7, right? So they're going to flip through my deck. It's going to excavate cards, basically showing the top card of the deck, the next top card. And then if it reveals a monster that can be normal summon / set, like Mizuki, White Princess, Unizombie, cards that have effects that do not say, this card cannot be normal summon / set. So basically my whole deck is free game. It special summons that card from your deck for free. Then mills or excavates the rest of the cards. So whatever card that got revealed that it didn't want to show or whatever gets sent to the graveyard. So yeah, it just gets more cards in your graveyard, and special summons a guy from your deck. But if they call the number right, that also gets sent to the graveyard too. So imagine what if they knew your strategy and you called 1. And then this card, it sends a level 1 monster because it revealed one that can be normal summon / set, like White Prince. Then that card goes to the graveyard, but it still gets to activate its effect, which is really strong. And it gets your plays going. So even if they call it right, you still plus. Imagine they call level 1 again. Oh, White Bacon gets into the graveyard. So you add 2 cards and discard 1. So, I mean, even the worst case scenario is still decent. Next up we have Where Art Thou, which is a normal spell card with the effect that if you control a level 1 monster, add 1 level 1 monster from your deck to your hand. During the end phase of this turn, take 2000 damage if you did not normal summon that added monster or card with the same name after activating this card. So you can see how half of our strategy is just level 1 monsters. So if I have a level 1 monster on the field, I don't know, I say King of the Skull Servants, I can activate Where Art Thou to add a level 1 monster from deck to hand, like White Lord. Then White Lord can trigger its effect. I could add White Mare as well. I can add White Prince. There's a whole lot of that. I can add White Baking. Where Art Thou, if I control level 1 monster, like imagine I go 1 for 1, special summon a guy. I can go Where Art Thou, add any of these other Skull Servants I may want, so that's really strong as well. But I do take 2000 if I don't normal summon it, and to be honest, you're not normal summoning those guys, so just feel free, take your 2000 life points, damage, whatever. Life points are a resource, as long as you're above 1, you're fine, that type of thing. So this is what we have. You can kind of see what I'm shooting for here, and we're going to do some test hands in archetype style. Then we're going to see if we can like craft this deck in a certain way that may help us, you know, really flesh out the strategy. All right, let's see what we're working with here. Just to learn how the combo works, right? This is rough. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I need Link 1 monsters in this deck because they like being sent to the graveyard. So I will normal summon a White Baking. In a sense, I kind of wish I had a Link monster, and I may have to throw one in there. So we can go White Baking, we can go Where Art Thou to add, oh, I need level 1 monster, wait a minute, I actually need a Link 1. I need a Link 1. Here's our monsters that we're gonna use. We have Relinquish Anima, which is a Link 1 Dark Spellcaster monster with 0 attack, arrow pointing upwards. It has the effect that that requires 1 level 1 monster except a token. You can target 1 face-up monster this card points to, equip that face-up monster to this card, maximum 1. You can only use this effect if Relinquish Anima once per turn. This card gains attack equal to that equipped monster's attack. Nice. Don't worry about its effect, just know that you can equip, I mean, you can summon this guy off of like White Baking and White Prince, which you want in your graveyard. Next up, we have Salamangreat Almirage, which is a Link 1 Fire Cybers monster with 0 attack. Arrow pointing bottom right. Requires 1 normal summon monster with 1000 or less attack. Has the effect that, quick effect, you contribute this card, then target 1 monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. When a normal summon monster you control is destroyed by battle, while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Salamangreat Almirage once per turn. Pretty strong. Also, it only takes a normal summon monster with 1000 or less attack, so basically any of these guys. White Prince has 0, White Lord has 300, White Mirror has 300, Baking has 300, which you really want in the graveyard. Lady in White has 0, Unizombie, not really, Princess, not really, but yeah. Anyways, now let's do a test hand. Holy, this hand is like nuts, I think, right? This hand seems really broken in my opinion, and here's why. So, welcome to the strength part of the game, eh? We have white baking, 1-for-1, white prince, where art thou, and lady in white. So what we could do, we can start off with a 1-for-1 here. Sending white baking to special summon any level 1, of our choosing. Sadly, white baking and white lord is a once per turn, kinda hurts. We can actually summon white lord here. And I have a reason. Alright, then white baking can trigger to add 2 of the guys I mentioned Skull Servant. Like, I mean, technically this guy can add white mare, and because we're sending white prince, this thing can add white mare and then white princess probably. I think I'll do white mare and white princess here. Alright. Then we can discard white prince. Then white prince can trigger. White prince can send Skull Servant plus lady in white. What else can we do? We can actually activate Where Art Thou if we want. Sure, let's activate Where Art Thou, why not? We can activate Where Art Thou. We can add, I think I want to add White Mare. White Mare's more extension, is what I believe. I like adding White Mare in this situation here. Now, what I'm going to do next, right? I'm going to, so we can mill even more cards. I'm going to activate White Princess. Then I'm going to activate White Lord. And then we're able to select 6. We can mill 6 cards now. So we're sending 6 cards from our deck to the graveyard. We can activate Gozuki's effect to banish a Skull Servant, right? It can banish a Skull Servant or a Lady in White. I think I want to banish a Lady in White, and here's why. We're able to special summon a Lady in White. So that's protection from spell traps. We can then, if we want, we can go White Lord. We can go White Lord, or what do we want to do? We can really cook here if we really think about it. I got an idea. We're going to go Mizuki, banishing itself, to summon Gozuki actually. Extra body on field. We can then go Gozuki's effect to just send any zombie monster from death to grave. We can send another Mizuki if we want. So we're going to send another Mizuki. Then if we feel like it, we can go... White Lord can summon White Prince if we want. White Lord can summon White Prince. Mizuki can summon Unizombie. I'm trying to think here. This is only a once per turn. We can go... Let's go Mizuki here. Let's use Mizuki to summon Unizombie. Oh, wait, we could have used Mizuki to summon Princess and then Princess to send. It's whatever. We're gonna go Unizombie, target a monster on the field. We can target, I don't know, Gozuki, increase its level. It doesn't really matter. Then we can send a White Prince if we want. Or we can send the third Mizuki here. These are just free bodies at this point. So we're gonna send the third Mizuki. We're gonna go Mizuki one more time. We're gonna special summon White Princess. We're gonna go Princess effect. We're gonna send White Prince. We're gonna go Prince effect. Prince to send Lady in White and Skull Servant. Then what we can do, we can really go all out here. So first off, we can go White Prince effect to banish Skull Servant and Skull Servant and itself, to special summon a King of the Skull Servants from the deck. So this guy already has 7,000 attack, which is pretty dang strong. We can get another king in here if we go... We have another prince. We can banish the king as well. So that's what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to go White Princess to send itself. I'm then going to go White Prince effect to banish Lady and Baking. We're going to special summon King of the Skull Servants here. Then I need link material, but I don't have any link material. Kind of in a tiffy, ain't I? Whoopsie cadoodles. I'm out of room now. But you can kind of see what's going on right now. Look at all this gas. These guys can activate to special summon any of these guys. We already got all this gas in our graveyard. Technically, this is an OTK. I guess I need to stop saying this or that because we kind of just like screwed everything to the sun. If we had any more things to facilitate our gas plays, we could go crazy right now. So that's just the beginning stages. Look how crazy that was, man. Let's reset. Alright, next up we have Unizombie, White Prince, Where Art Thou, White Lord, and Mizuki. You kind of want Mizuki in the graveyard, you kind of want White Prince in graveyard, and here's how we can do that. So, first off, we can normal summon Unizombie. Ah, man. We can go Unizombie here. I think we want to send Baking to the graveyard, so we're going to activate the effect to target a monster, then send a zombie from dead to grave. So we're going to go Unizombie. We're going to send White Bacon to the graveyard here. We're going to go White Baking effect. Since we have to discard a card as well, that kind of sucks, but we need to do that. What we can do... We can go... this is difficult to be honest. Because how I want to do this, I want White Mare in hand, but we can use Where Art Thou to search White Mare. We have a White Prince already. I think I want Princess, like as a guarantee. So we want Princess in hand, and then I think we want a second Prince, is how I want to make this work. And let's get the second Prince here. We have to discard a card, so let's discard White Prince. Then White Prince can activate its effect. We can send Skull Servant plus Lady in White. So we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4 Skull Servants. So White Lord would mill 4 cards. What we can do now, we can just send White Princess. Now we can mill 5 cards. We can activate White Lord's effect, sending ourselves 6 cards because this card becomes Skull Servant to count itself as well. We'll send 6 cards from dead to grave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can activate Gozuki. We can go Gozuki effect to... I'm thinking getting rid of Lady in White's pretty important, so we're going to banish Lady in White to special summon a White Prince, and here's why. Since we're able to special summon a White Prince, that triggers our Where Art Thou, which can add ourselves White Mare. White Mare can be added to hand. Then we can link off White Prince using Relinquish Anima. Then White Prince can trigger again to send Skull Servant plus Lady in White. Then what we can do, we can go Mizuki. We did not use Gozuki's effect, right? So I think we can start off with Gozuki, then Unizombie here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go Mizuki effect, special summoning Gozuki. Then we're going to go Gozuki's effect to send another Mizuki. Then we're going to go Mizuki's effect to special summon a Unizombie. Then we can go Unizombie's effect to discard a Mizuki. Then we can go White Lord's effect to special summon a White Princess. Then we can go Princess's effect to send another Prince. Then what we can do, we can summon our King of the Skull Servants now. We kind of got a lot of stuff on our field though, which kind of hurts. That's our only issue. There's too much on the field. We have so much stuff we can go into. Remember, Unizombie's a tuner, so we can go into some nasty synchros. We can go into some link plays. We can do some really nasty stuff is all I'm gonna say. Some real nasty combos. We just got so much gas that we don't have enough field in our extra deck. I mean, we don't have enough stuff in our like main monster zone, like enough room. Let's activate Mizuki. No, I think we can add White Prince here. Let's activate White Prince. Let's just banish, I don't know, Skull Servant and Lady in White again. We'll banish those and itself. We'll special summon King of the Skull Servants. Just see how much attack it got. 6,000. We can send White Princess to the graveyard for free. Now it has 6,700. We can send White Mare to the graveyard. We can special summon, I think we want to special summon Lady in White here. Special summon Lady in White, because Lady in White is protection. So we have 7,700 attack. We have protection from spell and trap cards. And battle. And we can make any crazy synchro we want. So that's obviously kind of insane. There is so much we can do right now. There is so much we can do that it is nuts. Let's go one more hand. This is just straight in archetype gas. I've never played such a crazy game. I've never seen like so much gas for strictly in archetype cards. Oh, this could be the hand of all time. I wonder, how do I want to make this work? What we can do, we can go 1 for 1 here. We can go 1 for 1, sending Lady in White. We can summon Baking. There we go, Baking has been summoned. We can go Baking, link it off for Anima. We can go Baking's effect to add 2 that mention it. We add White Prince, and then we add White Lord. Then what we can do, we can send off the White Prince. Then White Prince can send 2 to Graveyard, sending Skull Servant and Lady in White. Then if we want, we can even go further. We can go further beyond. Like, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Skull Servants engraved. Let's get more engraved, why don't we? So, we can Foolish Burial. let's just add a Foolish Burial for another Prince. Let's Foolish Burial for another Prince. Prince effect. Let's send another Skull Servant and Lady in White. Let's normal summon Unizombie here. Let's go Unizombie to send a monster from debt to grave. We're gonna go Unizombie, targeting. We're going to send Gozuki to grave. We're gonna go Gozuki's effect here. We're just gonna banish Lady in White. And then we're gonna special summon White Lord. I shouldn't have done that, to be honest, because I wanted White Lord in grave, but it's fine. We can go White Lord here. We get to send 8 cards from debt to graveyard. 8 of them. We get to send 8 cards from debt to grave. Oh my lord. Look at that. Oh, that's straight heat. That is straight heat. We got White Prince. We got Mizuki. We got White Lord. We got all of this in our graveyard right now. It is just nuts. So let's get our kings up. Let's get some kings going. We have 1 king in graveyard here. So we can go White Lord to summon it. Let's go White Lord. To summon the king. The king. Let's get 1 king on field. 9,000 attack. Let's banish White Prince. And Skull Servant. And Lady in White again. Let's get the 2nd king on field. Let's, the king. The king. Let's get the 3rd king on field while we're at it. Let's go White Prince here. Skull Servant. Lady again. Let's get the 3rd king on the field. Let's go White Mare here. What do we want to send in graveyard here? We can return it back to grave, or we can banish it, or we can special summon it. Let's special summon Lady in... Ooh, yeah, this will be good, yeah. We special summon Lady in White. Now look at this, right? We have 4,000, 4,000, 4,000, and they're all unaffected by spell and trap cards, and they cannot be destroyed by battle. That is the demosh. That's 12k right there. I think I'm having too much fun. I'm having way too much fun. That is insane. Now, this is all fun, right? This in archetype is just beautiful. I mean, truly, what can I say? I don't have any other words. This is just really fun to play. But let me tell you about the problem. I've noticed a slight problem. Now, for strictly in archetype gas, this is beautiful. You can't find it. You can't even beg for anything better than this. This is just insane, right? The problem is that this is a going second strategy, right? In doing so, there's too much in archetype cards that you are forced to run if you want to do anything. There's too many cards that aren't good by themselves. Like, as you can tell, I'm like really hard pressed to get White Mirror, to get White Prince in my graveyard, or to somehow find a way to send White Baking, right? And then White Lord is a dead card by itself. You kind of see that issue, right? And then Skull Servant is a vanilla. There is no good quality with Skull Servant. Mizuki requires a card to be in graveyard and itself. This is a good starter. This is a good starter, but if they get impermed, if they get infinite impermanence or negated, you have normal summons. White Mare requires one of your cards to be banished, which means it already requires like you to be in a position where you can combo. None of these help break through a combo. Because in a going second strategy, more often than not, they're going to stop you. They're going to super stop you playing this deck. So what I want to do is shave this deck down to a manageable size, while also adding in cards that could help the strategy a little bit more. For now, I feel like I'm getting a better understanding of how this deck works though. My problem is going to be making this work. So I'm going to try to build a, I forgot. Let's look at a little bit of decks surrounding this archetype and let's see what they're working with versus what we have right now. Alright, so I looked up Skull Servant. These are all YGO Pro deck has to offer, which is why we're getting to like why I even started this series, right? There ain't a lot, right? I mean, there maybe is some out there, but you can see that there's not many people making decks on these archetypes, right? Because that's not what's crazy and what's ultimate these days, right? That's not how it is. We have one by Mass Lobo, 3 years, Skull Servants, but with a little twist. So let's just look over them. 3 years ago versus all the way to a month ago. And let's look at the difference. He's running a 4D card engine. You can see there's a bunch of cards we know. There's a couple cards we don't. So I'll explain a couple. This guy sends himself to the graveyard to add this guy. This guy can send any card to the graveyard to send this guy. Since he's only running one Horus, that's not very good. In that you open Horus to get Sark, but Sark can't even be used because he's trying to go into a synchro play or something, I don't know. He has DDR, discard a card, target a banished monster, special summon it. He wants to special summon back his Mizuki. This deck is not running Mizuki. Okay, that's interesting. He's running a Lure of Darkness to draw more, because most of your guys are indeed dark. I don't know how to feel about that, because your Skull Servants are most powerful when they're in your graveyard and when they can banish themselves. But I guess that's why you're running cards that bring it back from the banish by discarding a card. It seems a little bit out of the way. 1-for-1 and Foolish Burial was always a good idea. They're 1-card starters. Burial from a different dimension targets 3 banish and return to the grave. It's a little sketchy, to be honest. Targeting monsters to return them to the graveyard is good in a sense because these are non-monster returns. But what I can say is that by itself it does nothing, right? But that's why he's running a Lure of Darkness probably, so that he draws the cards, but he kind of goes neutral or even less because the card he draws has to be Burial so that he can use whatever he banishes. So I'm still skeptic. He got Mass Change to summon a hero monster from extra deck. That's the same attribute, don't worry about it. He has Solemn Judgment for going first, potentially. I can see where they're going for. He is going Darklaw, which is a banish. Link Karibo is the better of the Link 1 monsters. Sadly, it's banned now. Cerberus, Dark, Phoenix, Griffin, Instant Fusion for Restrict, Mudrag, and Super Poly. I see what he's going for, but what's your opinion on this? I feel like it's not... I don't know. That's 3 years ago. Let's check out 4 months ago. By Unchained Soul King. What we have here is a stronger Horus engine. Ishizu's. The Horus engine sends the cards and they special summon themselves from the grave if Gold Sarcophagus is on the field. That's all you gotta know. He has Ishizu's, which shuffles them back into the deck. That's for your opponent's place is what I believe. He's running Forbidden Droplet. I'll tell you about that later. Triple White Baking I do agree with. That card starts your combo. Unizombie starts your combo. No Mizukis, huh? That's so interesting. He's running 1 Mizuki here. No Gozukis, but yes to Unizombie. Pot of Prosperity? Oh no. I believe Pot of Prosperity is a weird choice in that your opponent takes half damage. So unless you have the craziest combo of all time, you're not killing your opponent going turn 2, you know? So that's also my issue. So I don't know. He's running that. That card's banned. SP we already know. Underworld Goddess, that's pretty strong. Lyrilas, Garunix. He's using these level 8 monsters to go into cards like Zombie Vampire, which excavates the top 4 cards of your deck and then special summons any one monster. It's pretty strong. I just don't like interacting with my opponent in that way, right? Because cards, well, Foolish Burial sends a monster from debt to grave. This card can send 4 cards from debt to grave. So there's a potential that not only do you benefit, but your opponent does as well. So I don't really recommend that. Also, Unizombie can technically go into Pep, but I still want to keep the image that Skull Servants is the good part. I can see what they're going for. Anti-scam, Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Interesting. Let's check out the one from 1 month ago by Mr. Jack. So then you kind of see like the evolution of like how the deck has been played over time, right? This person's doing a different engine. They're running Lightsworns. Lightsworns, they mill 2 cards. This guy special summons itself if it's milled. These guys fusion summon if they're milled. These guys are treated as substitute for a fusion material if they're milled. I mean, I do like this engine. This engine is, in fact, probably the strongest version is what I think. But if I can find a means, right, I feel like I'd be better off running one of the latter archetypes because the Skull Servant part feels like, it feels second. It's like when people say, I'm playing Sprite Melfi, but in actuality, they're playing Sprite with 2 Melfi cards, right? I don't want to stray away from the plan here. Yeah, because they're basically using the Skull Servants as an engine to facilitate their combos instead of the other way around. I do like it though. I like what they're going for. Next up, they have Skull Servant by Odyssea 1 month ago. So we're just learning now, which is kind of cool. Oh, okay. This must be for a different event because half of these cards are banned. Sixth Sense is banned. Graceful Charity's been banned a while. Giant True Nade's definitely banned. Soul Charge would go ham in this deck, but is also banned. Triple Mizuki I do agree with. Foolish Barrel's nice. Running 3, can't do that. 1 Reborn, I don't know. And no extra deck, so he must be running this for an alternate format. And that's pretty much the list. I'm a little bit afraid now. Because now I have to cook up a deck that can cater to what I'm trying to go for here. So, it's time I try to figure out what in the world do I want to build. Here's my preliminary of what I wanted to build. I got to this extent, right? In the building process. And I may just continue off with that, but now that I know like how this deck actually functions better, I can really consider the playstyle. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, so I'm going to come back with my version of this deck. We can try to play a couple of games, you know, do a test hand or 2, and then we're going to play some games because I want to play some games. I want to see just how viable we can get this. And I may or may not adjust it as I go on, but it all depends, and then I'll explain the deck list later. Alright, I'll see you, and yeah. Alright, oh my lord, that took an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, but I think this is my end result. You may be wondering, what in the world did you just build? And to be honest, it was difficult to make this right. Like, the idea was, we have an OTK strategy, right? But the issue is that Skull Servants require a lot of Skull Servants. So I can't always just, oh, I want less Skull Servants in my deck, because you kind of need a lot of Skull Servants. Because of that, board breaking is kind of an issue, and going first will be a hassle. So what I opted to do was was to prioritize going first sometimes, right? So the idea of going first for this deck is that your Skull Servants, they do nothing unless you end on Lady in White. In that case, you just have a pretty big guy that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. But what I decided to do was going first to stop my opponent while setting up enough gas in the graveyard so that when they pass it back to me, I can just summon King, and call it a day, right? Because there's slightly an issue in how not having Mizuki or a way to get Unizombie, which are like my tuners in the deck, not getting those in my graveyard kind of hurts the deck. What else is an issue? Board breakers. I don't want to have too many board breakers because it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to finish the game off, or it makes it harder going first and stuff like that. So what I opted for was, because at first what I was going to do was go into a line where I can use Ash Blossom and make the use of zombie monsters, Ash Blossoms. But then Skull Servants have inarchetypal hand traps that are pretty dang helpful. So what I opted for was this. This build is crazy, and I'll be honest, I tested this for like a solid hour after building it, which is now what I want to do. I want to build it and then test it while I'm building it instead of building it and then for the first time ever I test it out, because I'd be wasting your time because I may just change the deck. But this right here, I've tested a lot. It's not bad. Maybe the extra deck could use some changing, but I will explain everything about this deck, the new cards in it, and the strategies. And after you learn this, to some degree, you would technically learn how to play a lot of decks, or like learn about strategies and everything. What I will say though, which is I wanted to keep the heart of the deck. The heart of the deck is strictly Skull Servants, right? So all of the cards in here are just there to either make it so Skull Servants can play going first, or to facilitate a better going second for Skull Servants. Now, my thing is that if I start playing the Tier or Horus engine, that will completely overshadow the Skull Servants. So Skull Servants is the main engine here. It's the main juice that gets the squeeze going, right? But then there's side engines and archetypes as well that can kind of assist. So I'll go over everything right now. It may take a minute, but you'll come out very wise. I'll do a bunch of test hands for you, then we'll do a couple of games, and I think you're going to really like this deck because it's goofy. It's super goofy, it's funny, it's goofy, it's funny, it's goofy, and I need more extra deck slots. You can see I was cooking, or maybe I'll do like a little fast time lapse of like what I did. But yeah, here we go. First off, we have our Skull Servants. You already know Skull Servant. We still got our Gozuki, we got our Mizuki that we explained, we still got Unizombie, we still got White Princess, we still got Lady in White, we still got White Baking, we got White Mare, we got White Lord, we got White Prince, we got King of the Skull Servants. Now, I'm going to explain ratios now. I opted to cut off a little bit of this engine because 3 White Prince would require me to run 3 Skull Servant and 3 Lady in the White. And technically, you only need to summon 2 to have like a pretty substantial board. So that really minimized how much fluff in the deck, right? White Baking I put to 2 because it's a hard once per turn and you really only need to use it once. White Princess is at 2. It's a really strong starter piece, but I'm sharing this with Unizombie, so 4 normal summon needs are not bad. What else? Skull Servants at 2 because White Prince I only want to activate maybe twice. 3 is overboard. We still keep 3 Kings because King is just kind of a good normal summon by itself. And then also King, sometimes you may accidentally like mill a guy, and King is good because White Lord can summon King if it's in the graveyard on accident, and then you need King for both of the White Princes, and I don't want to accidentally mess that up, so I kept 3 King. We kept 3 Mizuki because that's Monster Reborn. 1 Gozuki is not bad because that helps us facilitate another Mizuki in graveyard. Now here's where we get really crazy. For starters, these cards want to be in the graveyard because they're zombies. There's a bunch of ways to do it. You can run a tier engine. Tearlaments is an archetype that loves milling cards to the graveyard. You can run Horus. Horus is an archetype that sends cards from your hand to graveyard to send Horus monsters and then they come back, like zombies. But what I wanted to do was not focus on those because those decks in their own right are like their own archetype, to be honest. And when you side them with Skull Servants, it kind of leaves Skull Servants out of the mix, and I don't like that. So instead, we're running cards that helps either facilitate Skull Servants going first or assisting the strategy by milling, but not being too crazy, like Light Sworns. Light Sworns, a whole milling archetype. You could use it as an engine in Skull Servants, but I feel like that takes away from it. So instead, we're just going to cook, and we're going to cook hard. So here we go. I'm going to explain it in a way where, this is going to be really interesting. Okay, first off, we have, how do I explain this? Okay, first off, we'll start with an engine, because it'll be easy to understand. So we know Foolish Barrel sends White Baking to add White Prince and White Lord, and then discard White Prince, which can send Skull Servant and Lady in White, which is your full combo, and then you go White Lord to send 5. That's your first Skull Servant engine. Now, cards I would use to facilitate, I tried using Tuning and Synchrons, right? Because we're going to Synchro Summoning now, which is, we know Tuning adds a Synchron Tuner, sends the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So our goal is to add cards to discard for Unizombie, while also milling cards that may be useful like White Baking and White Prince, and Gozuki or Mizuki. Like there's so many good cards. So the tuners we end up wanting to add off of this is, first off, we have the card that really matters here, Jet Synchron, which is a level 1 fire machine tuner monster with 500 attack, 0 defense. That is the effect that if this card is sent to the graveyard synchro material, you can add a junk monster from your deck to your hand. If this card's in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use 1 Jet Synchron effect per turn, and only once that turn. So basically all that matters is that if this card's in the graveyard, send a card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And it is very important, this card effect, because we end up sometimes bricking, we end up having white baking in our hand and white prince in our hand, and we need to find a way to discard it, right? Our first way of discarding it is by linking it off so it goes to the graveyard. Our second way is using cards like Jet Synchron, which doesn't just help white prince and white baking. It can also send cards like Mizuki's that are in our hand on accident, or Gozuki. So that's why Jet Synchron's pretty good. Also, it's a level 1 tuner, which will help us go into like a pretty decent synchro play and stuff like that, so it may help a lot. Next up, we have Assault Synchron, which is a level 2 Dark Machine tuner monster with 700 attack, 0 defense. That has the effect that, during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, then take 700 damage. Also, while it is face up in the monster zone, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except synchro monsters. If a face up dragon synchro monster you control is tributed or banished except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of those monsters, special summon it. You can only use each effective Assault Synchron once per turn. Now, technically, this card is good because you add it off of tuning, and it is a free special summon. It is a tuner, which is nice. The other effect I don't think I've used technically, because this is a zombie-based strategy, and I don't think I make any dragon synchros. But how I would use it right is that if I have a level 1 Skull Servant plus Assault Synchron, there's a level 3 synchro actually that we can go into. But we'll talk about when we get to the extra deck. Next up, our last tuner to add off. We have Revolution Synchron, which is a level 3 Earth Machine tuner monster with 900 attack, 1400 defense. That is the effect that if you control a power tool monster or a level 7 or 8 dragon monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. You can only use this effective Revolution Synchron once per turn. If you control a level 7 or higher synchro monster while this card's in your graveyard, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if you do special summon this card, also its level becomes 1. You can only use this effective Revolution Synchron once per duel. Now, this card is extremely interesting in how you're able to synchro summoning using this card in your hand. Where normally it would require a tuner and a non-tuner on field, this card can be in your hand to summon a level 7 or 8 dragon monster or a power tool monster. I looked into it slightly with cards like this one, which is a level 7 dragon synchro, but what I found, which was a pretty good part, is that its second effect allows it to mill, to send a card from your deck to the graveyard, to special summon itself, and it becomes level 1, because we have a certain play we can do with that. Because our Skull Servants are mostly level 1, so it's pretty strong when we get that play into motion. Next up, so we basically share the tuning engine, which is using tuning to add one of these powerful monsters that can be discarded, or special summon themselves, sending one of the top cards from your deck to the graveyard, which could be White Prince, White Baking, Mizuki, Gozuki, other good cards, and then using their powerful effects to keep going. Also, I can 1-for-1 Jet Synchron, but don't worry about it. Alright, so we explained that engine. Let's explain another thing that I found was interesting. The Chaos Space, Shadow's Light, and Duality. We'll start it off with Shadow's Light, which is a normal spell card with the effect that target one dark monster you control, special summon one light monster from your deck or extra deck with the same original type and level. You can banish this card from your graveyard. During your main phase this turn, you can normal summon one light or dark monster in addition to your normal summon / set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can only use each effect of Shadow's Light once per turn. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate either of these cards' effects. Shadow's Light is an interesting card. But yeah, this card's super interesting, right? Because you can target a dark you control to special summon a light from your deck or extra deck. Which means we can target White Baking, which is the dark, level 1 zombie, to special summon White Lord, which we also want. Or we can use White Prince to special summon White Lord. So this just gives us extra access to White Lord, which is also why I'm running it at 2. It's very strong. Also, its graveyard effect gives you a free normal summon, so that is extremely strong in my opinion. It facilitates your plays. Also, it's just really good. It's really good is all I'm saying. Next up, we have its brother kind of, Duality, which is a quick play spell card with the effect that tribute one light or dark monster, special summon one light or dark monster from your hand or extra deck with the same original type and level, but different original attribute. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one light and one dark monster in your graveyard. Shuffle both into the deck, then draw a card. You can only use each effect of Duality once per turn. Now, here's why I chose Duality, because it's similar to Shadow's Light, but instead it tributes at quick play speed. So let's imagine I have King of the Skull Servants, right? No, let's imagine I have White Lord on field because I bricked. I can then go duality to tribute White Lord to summon King of the Skull Servants. Because it's like duality, right? Light, dark, but they have to have the same type and level. So this is a dark zombie level 1, and then I can summon a light zombie level 1. Same applies for these. White Princess is the one we normally normal summon in the situation, so it would normally be on the field all the time. We can go duality to tribute it to summon a synchro monster that is a level 3 dark tuner from our deck, from our extra deck, so that's super strong. Also, this card can summon Lady in White, so if we have Lady White on field, and we want access to White Prince, we can use duality to tribute summon the Lady in White to summon the White Princess, and the White Princess can activate its effect to send White Prince and do the combo. So duality is just super strong in that department. Really good card. Also, its banishment effect, banishing itself to shuffle one of our guys we don't need. Like, let's imagine we have a White Prince we want to shuffle back. We shuffle back a White Prince and a White Princess to draw a card. So that's just, it's draw power, it dodges cards, it's super strong. Even better. We normal summon White Princess, we activate the effect of White Princess to send White Prince to the graveyard. They chain infinite permanents targeting our White Princess, right? Because they want to negate it. So what we do, we chain duality, tributing White Princess to dodge the negate. So White Princess still goes through. We end up summoning Lady in White off of the duality, and White Princess triggers, sending White Prince. White Prince triggers, sending. It still goes on. So duality is just really good in that effect. Now, I know I'm like super out of order here, but I'm just like explaining it in a way that it would work. Because if I explain this like not in order, you'll be like, how does this synergize with another card? So I'm explaining the synergies, right? In every card in order. Like the tuning for synchros and then Shadow's Light and how that applies to certain cards, and then explaining how duality applies to certain cards. Next up, we have the funny stuff. Wait, before I do the funny stuff, no, we gotta do the funny stuff, the funny card. Chaos Space, which is a normal spell card with the effect to send one light or dark monster from your hand to the graveyard, add one light or dark monster that cannot be normal summon / set from your deck to your hand with a level from 4 to 8 and with a different attribute than that monster. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your banished light or dark monsters that cannot be normal summon / set. Place that monster on the bottom of the deck, then draw a card. You can only use each effect of Chaos Space once per turn. This card's funny, because remember how we talked about how we want White Baking and White Prince in our graveyard? This is another card that helps facilitate that engine, while also adding us another fun card. But what is a card that cannot be normal summon / set? Well, if you go to Dueling Nexus, and then you go to Monster, there's a thing called Ability. You know, like Tuner is an ability, like our Synchron Tuners, to go into Synchro monsters. There's Gemini, Flip, Tune, Union, Spirit, and Special Summon. Cards that specifically are like Special Summon say that they cannot be normal summon / set. And here's the cards that, well, here's a couple of targets, which we'll go into. So Chaos Space would send a dark monster to search a light monster that cannot be normal summon / set between the level. And then Chaos Space could send a light monster to add a dark monster that cannot be normal summon / set. And we have targets for both parties actually. So let's imagine we send White Baking, we have to add a light monster between level 4 to 8 that cannot be normal summon / set. And here's our target. We have, oh, these are both dark. What the, oh wait, oh, here's the target, there we go. Chaos Valkyria, which is a level 4 light fairy monster with 1800 attack and 1050 defense. That cannot be normal summon / set, oh, Chaos Space. That cannot be normal summon / set. Must be special summoned by a card effect. You can banish one light or dark monster from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. If this card's banished, you can send one light or dark monster from your deck to the graveyard, but for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate cards or effects this turn with the same name as that card. You can only use each effect of Chaos Valkyria once per turn. Now, here's the strength of this card. To be honest, I don't want to run this card, but I do want to run it because it's an extra target, because more often than not, you want Chaos Space to send a dark monster like Prince or Baking, but then it has to search a light, and the only good light one I found was Chaos Valkyria. Chaos Valkyria pretty much banishes a light or a dark, special summons itself as a free body. Then if this card in itself is banished, then it sends a light and a dark from your deck to the graveyard, but you can't activate the effects. So it's a foolish burial, but you can't activate the effects, so I would, like, if this card's banished all of a sudden, I'll probably send White Prince, even though it can activate its effects but I prep for next turn, right? I would prep for next turn by having White Prince engrave if Chaos Valkyria gets banished. It's not that good, to be honest. I just have to run it for chaos space reasons. Now, if you were to send a light monster like, I don't know, White Princess or White Lord, then you can add one of these two cards. We'll start off with this card, the Chaos Creator, which is a level 8 Dark Thunder monster with 2300 attack, 3000 defense. Cannot be normal summon / set, must be first special summon from your hand by banishing one light and one dark monster from your graveyard. If you control this card that was special summoned from the hand, you can target 3 banished monsters with different names, special summon one of them, then place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. You can only use this effect of Chaos, the Chaos Creator, once per turn. Now, this card's funny. You normally would have lights and darks in your graveyard, so this would be pretty easy of a requirement to fulfill, but I like the second effect. To target 3 banished monsters with different names, special summon one of them but place the rest on the bottom of the deck. Because, more often than not, you're banishing White Prince and other copies. Like, White Prince is a non-once per turn, so if this card banishes itself, and banishes Skull Servant, and banishes Lady in White, and then I have Chaos Creator and get it on field, I can target White Prince, Skull Servant, Lady in White, special summon Lady in White, shuffle back White Prince and Skull Servant, so that if I magically manage to mill Prince again, I can activate the effect again. So it almost acts like a third copy. Or even better, imagine I use my version of Mizuki, Gozuki, and like another card, right? Because Mizuki is it's a non-once per turn at all, it's a nonce per turn. The only thing you gotta do is just find a way to get this guy back in your graveyard. So if the Chaos Creator can just shuffle back all 3 of my copies of Mizuki, then I find a way to get it back in the graveyard by like Gozuki or Unizombie, or just tuning, then that is another copy of Monster Reborn. So it's just like recycling almost. That's why it's good. Next up, we have the other card that can be searched off of Chaos Space when you use a light monster, which is Arch Nemesis Protoss, which was recently just came off the ban list, along with his brother, Thunder Dragon Colossus. Arch Nemesis Protoss is a level 11 Dark Worm monster with 2500 attack, 3000 defense. Cannot be normal summon / set, must be first special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 monsters with different attributes from your graveyard and or face up field. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can declare 1 monster attribute on the field, destroy all monsters on the field with that attribute. Also, until the end of the next turn, neither player can special summon monsters with that attribute. You can only use this effect of Arch Nemesis Protoss once per turn. Now, this card's a floodgate. Need I say more? This card's a floodgate, like an actual floodgate. So basically, what it does, banishes 3 monsters with different attributes, like banishes, in Skull Servant strategy, a light, a dark, and maybe an earth, like if Gozuki's in the graveyard or something like that, I don't know. Or like one of the fires, or an earth. And then special summon itself, can't be destroyed by card effects, so that's pretty strong. Also, it declares an attribute, destroys all monsters on the field with that attribute. And then neither player can special summon monsters with that attribute. So if I have Protoss on the field and maybe a fire monster like, I don't know, Jet Synchron, I can declare fire, which would destroy the Jet Synchron, and then I could not summon fire monsters for the rest of the next turn. And then if you know what strategy your opponent is playing, that can be pretty strong. That can be game winning. So then, as your opponent can't special summon, they pass it back to you. Then you just do your Skull Servant strategy, summon both of these guys, beat them to death, the end. So Protoss just helps you win turn 1. If you're going first, it helps you win. That's pretty much the goal. Also, it can be searched off of this card, which is called Nemesis Flag, which is a level 2 fire pyro monster with 1100 attack, 200 defense. You can target 1 of your banished monsters except Nemesis Flag, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, shuffle that target into the deck. During your main phase, you can add 1 Nemesis monster from your deck to your hand except Nemesis Flag. You can only use each effect of Nemesis Flag once per turn. So, Nemesis is an archetype that their boss monsters are floodgates and everything else just shuffles banished monsters, don't worry about it. Now, what's good is that this card can target one of my banished monsters. And Skull Servants love banishing monsters. White Prince has to banish monsters to summon King of the Skull Servants. Then I can use Nemesis Flag to target one of those monsters, shuffle it back in my deck, special summon itself, then add Protoss. And then Protoss can do its thing. Or I can add Nemesis Corridor, which is a level 4 Wind Thunder monster with 1900 attack, 600 defense. You can target 1 of your banished monsters except Nemesis Corridor, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, shuffle the target into the deck. You can target 1 of your banished Nemesis monsters except Nemesis Corridor, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of Nemesis Corridor once per turn. The second effect does not matter. The first effect though, which is a card activated in the hand. So if it's in your hand, target a banished monster, shuffle it, special summon this guy. And welcome to the funny card. Now, I'll tell you why this is important a little bit later, but it'll all start coming to you. Like grease and everything. This is all, you're starting to like connect the dots now. That this deck that I've spent maybe an hour on just finagling with has a lot of different things to do. So let's finish off the main deck before we get into this absolutely diabolical extra deck. Let's use this one. Yeah, this is our last card, I think. Forbidden Droplet, which is a quick play spell card that has the effect to send any number of other cards from your hand or field to the graveyard. Choose that many effect monsters your opponent controls. Until the end of this turn, their attack is half, also their effects are negated. In response to this card's activation, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects with the same original type, monster, spell, or trap as the cards sent to the graveyard to activate this card. You can only activate one Forbidden Droplet per turn. Now, this card's fun. This card, I had to search it. This card does what I want it to do, right? Going second, this card can negate cards, right? It can negate monsters on fields and half their attack. Non-targeting. Because most cards in the game that are boss-like have targeting protection. This is non-targeting negation, and the best part is that they can't respond to it. If I send a monster, their monsters cannot respond to this card's activation. If I send a spell, their spells can't respond to the activation. If I send a trap, their traps can't respond to the activation, so that's interesting to note. Also, I can send White Baking to negate a card. Like, imagine I need this card in my graveyard. I can just activate Forbidden Droplet and send White Baking. So not only do I negate a card and half their attack, I get to start my plays. So that's insane. I think that's the last bit of the main deck. Well, if you made this far, how you doing? Nice, love ya. Hopefully you're liking this deck. I really tried. I don't know. I really tried to make it just as heinous as possible. Like, this is Skull Servants, but this is like the skull of all servants. Anyways, let's get into this saucy extra deck I've cooked up. Personally, because there's so much you can do with Skull Servants. Non-once per turn effects are always broken. Everything's broken in this game. Let me tell you why. We're going to start off with the funny. We have Thunder Dragon Colossus, which is a Dark Thunder fusion monster. Well, first we're going to start off with Thunder Dragon Colossus, which is a level 8 Dark Thunder fusion monster with 2600 attack, 2400 defense, which requires Thunder Dragon and one Thunder monster. Must first either be fusion summoned or special summoned during the turn a Thunder monster's effect was activated in the hand, by attributing one Thunder effect non-fusion monster, in which case you do not use polymerization. Cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing them. If this card would be destroyed by a battle card effect, you can banish one Thunder monster from your graveyard instead. Now, you're wondering, what's so good about this card? Personally, it's funny, and it's a link 1, and here's how. So, this is when I'm gonna bring it all together for you. Now, most cards need polymerization, but some cards have must be their fusion summon or special summon, and then here's their effect. This is their condition. During the turn, a Thunder monster effect was activated in the hand. Now, how do we make that possible? Well, if we learn something, we notice that Nemesis Flag has the ability, during the main phase you can add a Nemesis monster from your deck to your hand. This card can add Arch Nemesis Protoss, or it can add Nemesis Corridor. The Nemesis Corridor, as we remember, has the effect to target a banished monster, shuffle in the deck to special summon itself. Remember, this effect activates in the hand to shuffle one of your monsters to special summon itself. Then, for Colossus, it has to tribute a Thunder effect non-fusion monster, in which case you do not use polymerization. And then you're like, wait, Nemesis Corridor is on the field now due to its effect in the hand to shuffle a monster to special summon itself, which means this one card fulfilled the entire condition of Thunder Dragon Colossus. That's pretty strong. This card just became Thunder Dragon Colossus. So Nemesis Flag can search Nemesis Corridor. The Nemesis Corridor can make Colossus. And then cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing them? Wow, that's pretty strong, and here's how. Most cards add from deck to hand. I can explain like 1,000 cards. Half of my deck adds from deck to hand. Tuning adds deck to hand. Where Art Thou adds deck to hand. Like, what else? Nemesis Flag adds deck to hand. Like, there's so many cards. So, by saying that your opponent can't do it, you're locking them out of a pretty hard, like, you're locking them out of it, pretty much. Like, there's cards that do that as well, that are hand traps, called like Droll and Logbird, but you don't gotta worry about it. We're not running that. We're not babies. This card does that, and it's pretty hard to out, because if this card would be short by battle card effect, you can banish a Thunder monster from your graveyard instead. So this card tributes Nemesis Corridor. He's gonna be in the graveyard, then all you gotta do, this guy has protection. So if you were to be Regeki'd, then you can just banish this guy instead. So your opponent is gonna be finding an uphill battle for making you go first. Alright, we explained that. Now, you're wondering, how in the half-baked heck are we even, like you're telling me, Thunder Dragon Colossus needs Corridor, Corridor needs Flag, but you never told me, how do we get Flag? You're right, how do we get Flag? And here's how. This card, I'm skipping the synchros for now. Infernal Flame Banshee, which is a rank 4 Fire Pyro Xyz monster with 1700 attack, 600 defense. It requires 2 level 4 monsters. You can detach 1 material from this card, take 1 Pyro monster from your deck, either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. If this card is banished and you control a Pyro monster, you can special summon this card, and if you do, it gains attack equal to the number of your currently banished monsters times 100 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Infernal Flame Banshee once per turn. Ah, there we go. So what this card does, it adds a Pyro monster from your deck to your hand, or sends it to the graveyard. So Infernal Flame Banshee only requires 2 level 4 monsters, which could be Mizuki Gozuki, or Unizombie after it uses this effect to increase its level, and then increasing the level of like another level 3 monster. You can make Infernal Flame Banshee, activate its effect to detach 1 material to add Nemesis Flag. Mizuki can banish itself. You can go Nemesis Flag, target Mizuki in the banish pile, shuffle it back into the deck, summon itself, add Nemesis Corridor, target another one of your banished monsters, could be White Prince, could be White Prince, shuffle into the deck, summon itself, make Colossus. And that's your goal. Infernal Flame Banshee can grab you Colossus through those steps. And we're gonna make those steps possible. Now, it's super strong. I like the idea, it's super funny. The Skull Servants are very versatile in how they work with other cards, so I do like that. And I think this build makes it super fun. Fun to play. Alright, back to the synchros. Next up we have, I guess we'll start off with like Shamisen Samsara Sorrowcat, which is a level 3 Dark Zombie Tuner Synchro monster with 600 attack, 1200 defense. Requires 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters. Once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. If this card's in your graveyard, you can target one other synchro monster in your graveyard, return to the extra deck, and if you do, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Shamisen Samsara Cat Sorrow card, dang it, once per turn. So basically, you remember how I told you the tuning adds Assault Synchron? So what you could do, you can go Assault Synchron, normal summon one of your level 1 monsters or 1-for-1 for it if you want. Then that plus Assault Synchron makes Shamisen Samsara Sorrowcat, right? And it's a level 3 monster, that's all you need to know. It's a level 3 monster, it's a tuner, and then it can go into Immortal Dragon, which is a level 6 Dark Zombie Synchro Tuner monster with 500 attack, 2400 defense. It requires 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters. During your main phase, you can send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's level becomes the difference in the original levels of that monster and this card. When your zombie monster is destroyed by battle while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Immortal Dragon once per turn. This card's broken. I love it. So, we have tuner monsters like Revolution Synchron, Jet Synchron, Assault Synchron, even Unizombie. So if we use Unizombie's ability twice, that makes it a level 5 monster. Then any one of our Skull Servants plus Unizombie makes Immortal Dragon. Immortal Dragon, during the main phase, can send Mizuki. Mizuki is a free, monster reborn for zombies. And then this guy is just super good. It's a tuner as well. So this guy can go into other stuff. You can make it a level 3 to go into Xyz plays. You can send, you can send a level 3 to make this guy level 3. And you can send a level 4 to make him level 2. It all depends on what you want to do. Next up, we have Skeletal Dragon Felgrin, which is a level 8 light zombie synchro monster with 2800 attack, 2800 defense. Requires a zombie tuner and 1 plus non-tuner monsters. If this card's special summon, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls or into the graveyard, banish it. If a monsters is special summoned from either graveyard while this monster's on the field, except during damage step, you can target 1 other face-up monster on the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Skeletal Dragon Felgrin once per turn. Now, I'll be honest, I was trying to figure out what to do in the synchro department because I was too busy with the other cards. Now, when it's special summon, banishes a card, pretty good. If a zombie monster special summon, no, if a monster special summon from the graveyard, negate a card, that's pretty good. It's a synchro 8. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know what to do. I want to do something with Immortal Dragon, or maybe not, I don't know. So this could be flexed out for a better synchro. I just need to figure out what I want to do, and then I can work off of that. Zombie tuner is pretty restrictive, which means I can only use Unizombie, which means that none of the Jet Synchron or Assault or Revolution would work. And that's because I opted not to go for the Zombie World build. There's a Zombie World build, which has a field spell, which makes all monsters zombie monsters that are on the field or graveyard, which in return makes it so Mizuki can summon any monster from the graveyard instead of just zombie monsters like the Skull Servants and other stuff. But I opted not to do that because, I don't know. I don't know. The Skull Servant engine feels kind of thick, and I didn't really want to make it even more reliable, make it so I had to rely even more on drawing a field spell, then getting Mizuki in the graveyard. I don't know, it just felt like much to me. Next up, we have Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord, which is a level 10 dark zombie synchro monster with 2000 attack, 2400 defense. Requires a zombie tuner +1/+ non-tuner monsters. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target one zombie monster in your graveyard except Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord, special summon it. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one zombie monster you control, special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Red Eyes Zombie Lord once per turn. Oh, well, now I remember why I ran Felgran. So, if we somehow go Immortal Dragon to summon Felgran, then we go Felgran plus... Oh, this requires a zombie tuner, never mind. Ugh. Anyways, this guy can summon another guy. It can summon Skull Servants, or it can summon... Lady in White's pretty strong. Making your cards unaffected like that is really strong in my opinion. I don't know. The synchros I'm kind of iffy about, except Immortal Dragon and Samsara. I'm really iffy about my synchros. I may change them, depending. I don't know. Alright, next up we have... I already did that. Oh, here's another funny combo. We have Levier the Sea Dragon, which is a rank 3 wind aqua monster that requires 2 level 3 monsters. That has the effect that, once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one banished level 4 or lower monster, special summon that target to your field. Now, welcome to how the funny works, right? So we have some level 3s. We have Unizombie. We have White Princess. We have Lady in White. We have level 3s for days. And then we also have cards that we want back in our graveyard, like Mizuki, which banishes itself to summon a zombie. So what if we go Mizuki to banish itself to summon a zombie? We can recycle it by going Levier the Sea Dragon to detach material, to target Mizuki, special summoning it back. Which means that when Mizuki leaves the field, it goes back in the graveyard, which means that you can use Mizuki's effect again to banish itself to summon a zombie. So it's like a weird loop you can kind of do. And remember, this card has once per turn on it, not only once per turn, which means that you can summon another copy of itself. And here's where we reach the interesting going first play, because next card we have shows exactly why I'm running this. We have number F0 Utopic Future, which is a rank 1 light warrior monster with 0 attack, 0 defense, which requires 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank except number monsters. This card's original rank is always treated as 1. Cannot be destroyed by battle, and neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of damage step, if this card battle an opponent's monster, take control of that monster until the end of the battle phase. If this face-up card on the field will be destroyed with a card effect, you can detach one material from this card instead. Now, its requirements being 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank except number monsters. I told you how most Xyz monsters require like 2 level 3 monsters or 2 level 4s. Sometimes some Xyz monsters require other Xyz monsters. Now, this requires 2 Xyz monsters with the same rank. Rank being levels but 4 Xyz. Levier the Sea Dragon is a rank 3, and I can summon a second copy of this and use this effect. Which means that I can use both Levier the Sea Dragons, which are the same rank, that are also not number monsters, because there's an archetype of like Xyz monsters called number monsters, and they're super crazy and easy to pull out, so that's why they chose not number monsters. Infernal Flame Banshee is not a number monster. Levier the Sea Dragon is not a number monster, which means I can summon Utopic Future. Now, its effect, battle phase related and can't be destroyed by battle, that's kind of mid. So why would I even summon this? It's because this card here, which is number F0 Utopic Draco Future, which is a rank 1 light warrior Xyz monster with 3000 attack, 2000 defense, which requires 3 Xyz monsters with the same rank except number monsters. This card's original rank is treated as 1. This card is always treated as a Utopic Future card. You can also Xyz summon this card using number F0 Utopic Future controls material. Transfer its materials to this card. cannot be destroyed by battle, or card effects. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation, and if that monster is on the field, gain control of it. This is why. So, I know half of its effect is just its summoning requirements, so I'm going to dumb it down for you. It only requires 3 Xyz monsters with the same rank except number monsters. That's difficult, which is why it also has where you can just summon it by using number F0 Utopic Future controls material. You know, I tell you some Xyz monsters require 2 level 4s or 2 level 3s, and then this one requires 2 same ranked ones. This one just requires 1 Xyz monster, specifically Utopic number F0 Utopic Future, which means this card, well, basically just means Utopic Draco Future can slap itself on top of Utopic Future and transfers materials. It's good because it has the effect that can be destroyed by battle or card effects, which is really strong. Also, if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can detach a material, negate the activation, then if it's on the field, you can gain control of it. So this card can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, it's a monster negate, and if they're on the field, it's also a snatch, a change of heart if even. That's insane. So the combo is that I can use Unizombie and maybe Lady in the White. I can go into Levier the Sea Dragon, summon back the Mizuki, then link it off for something goofy, then make a second Levier the Sea Dragon, bring back the Mizuki again, go into Utopic Future, then Xyz summon into Utopic Draco Future. That's the plan. Alright, going first sometimes. Now, next up we have Lyrilless Unsun Robin, which is a rank 1 Wing Beast Xyz monster with 0 attack, 0 defense. Requires 2 plus level 1 monsters. Gains 500 attack for each material attached to it. If your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can detach 1 material from this card, then target one of those special summon monsters, return to the hand. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can target one other Lyrilless monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Now, here's the importance of this card. Now, when going first, I did say that the strategy is just having a big King of the Skull Servants with like 5,000 attack and then 1 Lady of the White on the field so that they're unaffected and can't be destroyed by battle, which is good, but it's not worth sometimes. Sometimes it's good to build interruptions going first, because you don't want your opponent to build a board. You want it to be as easy as possible to win. That's why Unsun Robin can make use of your White Baking, your White Mare, your King of the Skull Servants, your Skull Servants, can make use of all of it and then summon itself. Then at a non-once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, detach a material and then just bounce it back to the hand. So, if they special summon a monster, detach, bounce it back to the hand. If they special summon another monster, detach, bounce it back to the hand. It's really strong. It makes use of your Skull Servants, and your Skull Servants go to the graveyard, so that when they pass it back to you, you're able to beat them to death using your White Prince into King of the Skull Servants combo. Alright, we're almost done. Last part of this is another engine we have in mind, involving fire monsters. So we start off with Pit Knight Early, which is a Link 2 Fire Cyberus monster with an upward right arrow and a right arrow that is 1500 attack. Requires 2 effect monsters. When a monster this card points to activates effect, except during the damage step, quick effect. You can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn, changes attack to 0, also negates effects. During the end phase, if this card's in the graveyard because it was destroyed by a battle or card effect and sent there this turn, you can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Pit Knight Early once per turn. Now, this card's interesting. It only requires 2 effect monsters, which is really easy to do. You know, what if you just want to link off one of your White Bakings or Princes? It's free, right? Or you want to link off Relinquish Anima and another card like Mizuki to make Pit Knight Early. It has an interesting effect where you see how the arrows are pointing upwards right? You see how the arrows are pointing upwards right and then right? So let's imagine there's a monster next to this that activates its effect. You can target an effect monster, change its attack to 0 and also negate it, which means that your Skull Servant can get a real good attack in. And negating an effect, that's also super strong. And then also if it's destroyed by card effect, comes back. Pretty good, right? Now, here's the powerhouse. We have Promethean, oh god. We have Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, which is a Link 3 Fire Fiend monster with the right left arrow and the downward pointed arrow. With 2700 attack, it requires 2 plus effect monsters. You cannot special summon monsters except fire monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Promethean Princess. You cannot special summon monsters except fire monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames once per turn. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 fire monster from your graveyard. If a monster or monsters is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, You can target one fire monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, destroy them. And if you do, special summon this card. This card came out recently. It has a lot of effects, but don't worry, I'll jot it down. Now, basically, it requires 2 plus effect monsters. It says 2 plus, even though it has 3 arrows. It's a link 3, but requires 2 plus, which means you could use a link 2 and a link 1 because, you know, it achieves that condition because link material can be transferred. So Pit Knight early is a link 2, which means that if this guy were to be used as link material, it can be counted as 2 link materials, aka 2 monsters, because it's a link 2. Promethean Princess requires 2 effect monsters, which means it can require 3 effect monsters if you want, or it can require a link 2 and another monster to make it. Alright, you can add special monsters as fire monsters. Kinda sucks, which means that if this guy were to be linked off, or if you want to continue your plays that is not fire based, you would have to link off Promethean because it locks you out of anything but fires. Now, during your main phase, you can special summon a fire monster from your graveyard, which means, let's imagine we use Pit Knight early and White Mare, or like White Lord. We make Promethean Princess using it. Promethean Princess has the effect to special summon a fire from grave, so we can special summon back the Pit Knight early anywhere we want to. Then, if we have another monster on the field, we can use Promethean Princess and another card to go into a link 4 fire monster. Now, its last effect is also interesting. If a monster special summon while this card's in the graveyard, target a fire you control and a monster your opponent controls, destroy them. And if you do special summon this card, that means if your opponent special summons a monster, that card's in your graveyard and you have a link and you have like a fire monster on field, you get to target your fire, you get to target their monster, destroy both of them, this card comes back. And if this card stays, you get to use that effect again on your turn to special summon a fire monster. So it's another layer of interruption and extension and everything else. It's really strong. And last but not least, the link 4 we go into, which is Amphibious Swarm Ship Ambler Whale, which is a link 4 fire machine monster with the right, the left, the bottom, and the bottom right arrow. Requires 2 plus effect monsters. Gains 200 attack for each link monster in the graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Amphibious Swarm Ship Ambler Whale once per turn. If this card's destroyed, you can target one link 3 or lower monster in either graveyard, special summon it. If a link 3 or lower monster in the field or on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. If a link 3 or lower monster or monsters on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card's in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy one card on the field. Now, when you have Promethean, you summon back Pit Knight, then you have another guy on the field, you use Promethean and the other guy to go into Ambler Whale. Now, that means on your opponent's turn, if they special summon a monster, you use Promethean Princess's effect to target Ambler Whale and a card they control to destroy it. Then it has it. Remember, Ambler Whale has, if this card is destroyed, target a link 3 or lower monster near the graveyard, special summon it. So that means Ambler Whale gets a special summon back, Pit Knight early if it wants, or another card. You know, so that's really strong as well. Then if a link 3 monster is destroyed while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it, destroy a card on field. So that means you use Promethean Princess, you pop Ambler Whale on the card they control, which is one interruption. Then if they end up destroying one of your cards, you can banish Ambler Whale to destroy another one of their cards. And that's all the interruption. It's super crazy in my opinion. I wish I had more extra deck space, and honestly, I don't even know what's going on, but we just finished reviewing all of the cards in the archetype. I know that was a slog. I know that took a while. Thank you for staying with me here. Now we can run some test games, then we can run some actual games and see just how good this deck is. Or if I just suck, I don't know. Like I said, I gotta say, I really did explain a lot, didn't I? You pretty much know every deck in and out now. Let's run a test hand. You see what we have here? Pretty interesting hand, and here's how we can make it work. We can go 1 for 1. 1 for 1 to send White Baking to the graveyard. Then we can special summon any level 1 monster. We can honestly just special summon we can special summon White Lord, since White Lord's already there. Nah, we want a guy that we don't mind. I don't know. Sure, we'll special summon White Lord's fine. Then White Baking can trigger its effect. White Baking triggers. We can add ourselves Prince. And we can add ourselves White Mare. Alright. We can send Prince to the graveyard. Prince can activate its effect. As you can see, we don't have Unizombie access, which kind of hurts. We can send Skull Servant. Then we can send Lady in White. We can actually trigger White Princess, activate its effect, discarding itself, reducing everyone's attack by their level, times 300. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Skull Servants in our graveyard. So we can activate White Lord's effect, sending itself to the graveyard, which makes it 6. which means we can send 6 cards from our deck to the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All of those cards suck, I'll be honest with you. But we can still trigger some effects. I'll be honest, I've seen better hands. We can trigger White Lord here since we can trigger White Lord to summon White Princess. Since we have not used White Princess's effect yet. White Princess can trigger to send ourselves another prince. We can activate White Prince's effect to send ourselves the Skull Servant and the Lady in White. Then what we can do, we can go White Prince effect, banishing the Lady in White and the Skull Servant to special summon the king. So the king is on the field. We can then go White Mare to target the Lady in White that is banished. Special summon it. Boom. Let's see what we're looking at here. Extra normal summon, White Prince special summon a guy. Do we have a line here? So we technically do have a line, but it's not a good line, I'll be honest with you. We kind of pass on nothing good. In our banish pile, we could go Levier to target White Prince again, but that's not good enough. Since we didn't open Unizombie or like tuning or anything good, and our graveyard is kind of in shambles due to that, you know, discard, it kind of hurts. But I have a plan, and here's the plan. We are going to go White Prince again. We're going to send the Skull Servant and the Baking here. After that, we're going to summon King. The king is here. Then we can go into Hit Knight early, using White Princess and Lady in White. Then after that, we can go into Promethean Princess, using the Pit Knight and the King of the Skull Servants here. We can use Promethean Princess not to summon Pit Knight early, but to summon the Nemesis flag that we milled off of White Lord. Then we can activate Nemesis flag effect to add ourselves Nemesis Corridor, because Protoss is in the graveyard, which kind of hurts. Don't forget, we can activate Duality to shuffle back cards as well. So what we can do, we can go Amblowell here, using the Nemesis flag and the Promethean Princess. So we have Amblowell on field, Promethean Princess. We can then, if we want, use Duality's effect to draw a card. So we can go Protoss, we can shuffle the Protoss, and we can shuffle back the White Princess. And then draw a card. Oh, we drew Chaos Creator, that's not bad. I don't have a light monster in my graveyard, don't I? Oh, that sucks. At least I can drop one of these cards. So what we can do now, we can go Nemesis Corridor. We can actually target one of these cards. Let's target a White Prince. Nah, we can target a White Lord, it's fine. We'll target a White Lord, we can special summon Corridor, then we can make Thunder Dragon Colossus here. Sadly, I don't have any light monsters, but it's fine. And this is our end board. We can also set the Forbidden Droplet for next turn. So, what we have Thunder Dragon Colossus, right? Because they can't add cards from their deck to the hand except by drawing. Amblowell, which means we do remember that if they special summon a monster, we get to destroy Amblowell on the card they control. Amblowell triggers to summon Pit Knight early. And then that triggers to negate a card on the field if we want. Our follow-up for next turn, I probably should have put another one of our cards in the graveyard, but it's fine. If Promethean Princess stays on field, we can go Nemesis Flag to search Protoss, because we shuffled it back with Duality. And that's pretty strong on its own. We'll be able to survive the turn is what I'm saying. I'm kind of on the fence about Chaos Creator though, so I'm going to get rid of Chaos Creator immediately. And what we can do, we can add... I think I want another board breaker actually. I'm thinking like Imperm, no. Oh my bad, Effect Veiler is a level 1 light spellcaster tuner monster that has the effect that during your opponent's main phase quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Then target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate the effects of that face-up monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. So if it's your opponent's main phase, they activate an effect that whatever to do something. You can just send Effect Veiler from the hand to the grave, target that monster, and then if it resolves, it negates the effect. So that's pretty good. Alright, let's do a test hand. Let's Going first, we are in a good position here. Going second, we just kill him, I think. So this hand kinda sucks, but I think we can still capitalize off of it. Or maybe we can, I don't know. I'm gonna go King of the Skull Servants here. I'm going to activate Where Art Thou to search a level 1 monster. I don't think there's any good ones though, that kind of hurts. I think I'm forced to go White Lord here actually. I'm forced to add White Lord. What's good is that Where Art Thou can add Effect Veiler, which is also why I decided to run it. We have to go Relinquish Anima, we have to activate White Lord and mill 2 cards and hope we get something good. We can activate White Prince now, oh my lord, that's kind of good. We can send Lady in White and Skull Servant, and then we're forced to keep going. What we can do, what's in our graveyard? Nothing worth noting. What's our extra deck? What we could do is go White Prince here. We can banish the Lady in White and the Skull Servant because we don't have any other choice right now. I may want to link 2 that can discard a card, to be honest with you. That may be my choice of action right now. White Lord can summon the King, which is nice. I kind of want something that can discard. Pit Knight is a good card, but opening Mizuki kind of hurts. Alright, this card can target King of the Skull Servant here. What we can do after... Do I have any reds? I don't have any reds. I can do... The best play I can go into is Ensemble Robin, which means if they special summon a monster, we can return to hand. Or we can just do our normal line here. Think these. Promethean. It's unfortunate, I need to discard a card, you know, like... Then Ambloel. That's all I can do is Ambloel pass right now. Because Mizuki's stuck in hand and I have not drawn into Unizombie, but it's fine. Sometimes that is literally enough. We're gonna run like 2 more test hands and then see what the real games are like. Because the real games may be insane. This hand is also not that good, which kind of sucks. I'm forced to normal summon Whitemare, which I really don't want to do. We're gonna go Whitemare here. We're gonna trigger Where Art Thou. We are going to grab... We have to grab White Lord. White Lord's our only hope of getting anything good off of that. Then we have to go into Anima. So that we can trigger White Lord. We have to send 2 cards and hope we get something good. We got White Lord, which we can banish here. To summon... we can summon King, I guess. We can summon the King. The King! We can summon the King. We're forced to do the Pit Knight play again. We can go Nemesis Corridor to bring back the White Lord. Special summon itself. The issue is the Mizukis are in hand. I need to get rid of these Mizukis, man. That's my only issue. I need to get rid of Mizuki here. Ugh, I need a discard. Okay, Nightmare Phoenix is a Fire Fiend. So if I'm ever in a situation where I'm going second, I think Nightmare Phoenix is stronger. And you can also summon it back off of Promethean Princess so it doesn't hurt too much. So I think that may work better, is what I believe. That doesn't mean I can discard the moment. Sadly, our non-engine is a single Veiler, and a Forbidden Droplet, which kind of hurts. But I believe. Let's do one more test hand. Oh, this is our hand. It's not bad, to be honest. We can go Tuning. We can add Jet Synchron, probably. It's pretty good. We send another tune to the graveyard, which kind of sucks. What we can do... Here's a funny combo. We can activate Assault Synchron. We can take the damage. We can normal summon White Prince. Then we can make Shamisen Samsara Sarakat. And then White Prince can trigger. White Prince can send Skull Servant and Lady of White. Then what we can do... Can we make a Synchro 7? Oh man, I'm trying to see what Synchro... could I try and make a Synchro 7 here? We got White Prince. Banish, banish. And itself to summon King. The King is here. I would love to discard a card, to be honest. If I can discard Jet Synchron, but it never happens, man. We can return the White Prince back to the deck. Summon itself. Technically 3, 4, that's a 8. So I could go Colossus, I can summon an 8. I just need discards. I need a Synchro 7 and I need discards now. Alright, this hand is pretty decent. I just don't like the Mizuki in my hand because I just cannot find a way to discard it. I really can't. Alright, we're going to add ourselves. We can add a jet synchron, to be honest. Now we can add an assault. We can add an assault here. And then we sent the where art thou. That's so funny. What we could do, I have a funny play, I think. Do I have a funny play? I think I'm forced to play like this now. So we can go white baking. We can activate assault synchron. We can take the damage. Take the damage here. What we can do after that, we can go to Sorrow Cat. We can activate white baking to add 2 cards. We can add White Lord. We already have Prince in hand, so we can get Princess. Then we can discard Prince. We can activate Prince effect. We can send Skull Servant and Lady in White. We can then trigger White Princess. After that, we can go White Lord for 5 or 6, I think. Yeah, White Lord for 6. And hope we get something good. We did not get anything good, but we did get Jet Synchron, which means we can send Mizuki, special summon itself. Then Mizuki can finally do stuff. How do we work this now? I need to go Mizuki and then get Unizombie on the field. I think I have to banish Mizuki here. Do I have any level 3s? I think I do. Okay, we can go White Lord. Banish itself, target Princess. White Lord for Princess. We can go Princess. Princess to summon Prince. Oh wait, I forgot that does nothing really good. So what we can do after that, we can go, let's see. Mizuki. Oh wait, I forgot. I need to make a 6, right? Those do make a 6 already. I just messed up then. Oh no. I whiffed. Alright, we can just get Lady in White here. We can just go for Lady in White, don't worry. So we got Lady in White. Bingo. We can then, we can go to Immortal Dragon, I think, is the way to go. Immortal Dragon, using these 2. Then we can go Immortal Dragon effect to send a 3. We can send Unizombie. Then after we send Unizombie, then we can go into Leviair. There we go. Leviair effect. Detach Immortal to summon Mizuki. Bingo! Then we can... Oh, I need Mizuki back again. Whoops. How the heck do I link off Mizuki here? I guess we do Nightmare Phoenix, I guess? Nightmare Phoenix looks like the way to link off Mizuki. Nightmare Phoenix it is. Alright, link it off. Boom. Nightmare Phoenix. Then we can go Mizuki. Mizuki triggers to summon Unizombie. Then we go Unizombie. Unizombie to discard Skull Servant. We target this, discard Skull Servant, increase level. Target this. Discard Gozuki. No, it's Mizuki again. What's my graveyard? You're 3, and then Mizuki makes another 3, I think. So I guess we send Mizuki here. I guess I should not use the discard effect. You're a 3, which means I can make, if I summon another 3, I can make an 8. But I need to make a 3 here. So what we can do, we can go Mizuki. Mizuki to summon Lady in White. Mizuki to summon Lady in White. Shamisen Sam Sorrow Cat to take Immortal Dragon, send it back to the extra deck. Summon itself. Then we can go into Leviair. Again. Because Leviair uses effect Shamisen Sam Sorrow Cat to bring back Mizuki. Mizuki's back on the field. We can then go into Utopic Draco Future. Bingo, that's Utopic Future. Then Utopic Draco Future. Then we still got some white princes we can use later, but we're not going to use them yet. We can go Promethean here using the Mizuki and the Phoenix. We can go Princess effect. Oh, we can go Princess Target Flag. Actually, I don't mind doing that. We go Princess Target Flag. We can then go Flag to add either Protoss or Corridor. We have a Dark. We have an Earth. We have a fire. Nah, we can target corridor, it's fine. We'll target corridor. Then we can go into Amblowell here. Using Promethean and you. Promethean and friends. Then what we can do... Oh, we can go Mizuki again. What's a link we can make? You're a 5 tuner. 5 tuner. What's a non-tuner we can make? Non-tuner. 5. We can go Skeletal Dragon. We can go Felgram probably. A level 5 tuner. Our extra deck has... Level 5 zombie tuner. We can make an 8 or a 10. 5. So we need a 4 or a 5. That kind of sucks. We don't have any 4 or 5s here, man. Yeah, we don't have any 4 or 5s, so what I'm forced to do... You see, this is why the synchros suck. The synchros are bad. The synchros suck. I tell you, the synchros are mid AF. Because now I need to... Because I messed myself up. I could have made an 8. But you're a freaking 5 tuner because I sent Skull Guardian on accident. I sent Skull Guardian on accident to make this guy, which made himself a 5. I need a 3. Oh, it's a 3. My bad. 3 or a 5. I have a 3. Never mind. I'm being too mean right now. We banish this. We get ourselves a 3 on field. Like, I don't know, Lady in White. We get ourselves Lady in White on field. We can then make Skeletal Dragon Felgran. Felgran can banish a card, but we're not doing that. What is this Felgran? If a monster summoned from either graveyard, you can do something? Cool, like that. We can then activate Corridor to target, I don't know, Mizuki. Special summon itself. Then we can make ourselves Colossus. Then if we want, we can go White Prince. Banish you and banish you. Special summon ourselves the King. With 8,000 attack. We can then go White Prince again. Banish Lady in White, Lady in White. Special summon the other King. Those are both at 5,000 attack. Colossus, Felgran, and we can just go Ensemble if we want. So, if they special summon a monster, we can bounce it back to hand twice if we want. If they activate a monster effect, we can negate it. If they special summon a monster, we can destroy that card and our card. Special summon Promethean. If they destroy one of our cards, we can banish Amblowell to pop one of their cards. They can't add monsters from their deck to their hand, except by card effects. If a monster special summon from the graveyard, I can target a card and I can target a face-up monster and negate it. All we need now is back row, just back row. This is kind of strong, right? Right? You're proud of me? Are you proud of me? I cooked with Skull Servants. That's what I cooked up pretty much. Just, I feel like I need a better 8. There's gotta be a better Synchro 8 out there. No, holy, this is a bad case of the mid. Alright, I added these 2 cards instead. I'm not even, I don't know if it's worth explaining it. Like, they're not good synchros. I'm just gonna say the synchro part does not matter anymore. I'm sorry, okay, I'll explain it. Alright, we have Psyframe Lord Omega, which is a level 8 light psychic synchro monster with 2000 attack, 2200 defense. Requires 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters. Once per turn during the main phase quick effect, you can banish both this face-up card from the field and 1 random card from your opponent's hand face-up until your next standby phase. Once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, you can target 1 banished card to return to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 other card in your graveyard, shuffle both that card and this card from the graveyard into the deck. To be honest, I don't care about it. Like, it banishes a card from your opponent's hand, and also it can shuffle, it can return 1 of your banished cards to the graveyard, which could be Mizuki, which is kind of nice. Next up, we have Virtual World Kyubi Shinshin, which is a level 9 wind psychic synchro monster with 2000 attack, 2400 defense. Requires a tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner monsters. Any card is sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. You can only use each of the following effects of Virtual World Kyubi Shinshin once per turn. When your monster declares an attack, you can return 1 banished monster to the owner's graveyard. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish 2 other monsters from your graveyard with different original types and attributes from each other. Special summon this card from your graveyard. It's a floodgate. It literally is macrocosmos, or dimensional fissure. Just banishes cards instead of sending to the graveyard. We're going to just disregard all that and run some games because I'm gonna have to take like 5 days editing this. Well, let me round off what Skull Servants is. We have Skull Servant, Arch Nemesis Protoss, Nemesis Corridor, Chaos Valkyria, Gozuki, Mizuki, White Princess, Unizombie, Revolution Synchron, The Lady in White, Nemesis Flag, Assault Synchron, Jet Synchron, White Baking, White Mare, White Lord, White Prince, Effect Veiler, King of the Skull Servants, 1 for 1. Where Art Thou, Shadow's Light, Foolish Burial, Tuning, Chaos Space, Forbidden Droplet, Duality, Thunder Dragon Colossus, Virtual World QB Shinshin, Psyframe Lord Omega, Immortal Dragon, Shamisen Samsar Sorrowcat, Inferno Flame Banshee, Levier the Sea Dragon, Number F0 Utopic Draco Future, Number F0 Utopic Future, Lyrilless Ensemble Robin, Amphibious Swarm Ship Ambler Whale, Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, Nightmare Phoenix, and Relinquish Anima. Alright, let's run some games. Alright, Mega Phase, I wish you luck. Technically this is a going second deck. So let's see if we can go second then. We may lose going second, to be honest. We're gonna go second. See how good this is at going second. It may be bad, because I kind of prioritize this deck going first, I'll be honest with you. This hand's pretty bad, but you know we'll live with it. We will survive. We will survive. It takes a ounce of cocaine just to feel alive. Oh, rank 4 access? He summons Star Drawing so that Kage Tokage can normal summon itself, special summon itself. He goes into Utopia. Utopia to draw a card because Star Drawing, when uses material, can draw a card. He then goes into Utopia the Lightning, I assume? No, Utopia Ray? Oh, okay, what's activating? It's targeting. ZW Unicorn Spear, targeting Utopia Ray. This equipped monster battles opponent's monster. Monster effect is negated during the battle phase only. Interesting. What we're going to do, we're going to go... What do we want to add? We want to add a light monster, I think. We can just go tuning. We can go tuning effect. We can add ourselves Assault Synchron probably would be good. I think Assault Synchron would be nice for this situation here. Send a card from dead to grave. We send White Baking. That is insane. We activate White Baking effect. We can add ourselves Prince. And we can add ourselves White Mare if we want. We're gonna add Prince and White Mare. Oh, this hand is insane. Let's beat our opponents to death. We're gonna send White Prince. We're gonna go White Prince so we can send ourselves Skull Servant and Lady in White. Sending Skull Servant, Lady in White. Then what we can do, we can cook even harder. We can go activate Assault Synchron to special summon itself. Then if we want, we can just normal summon King of the Skull Servants here. Remember, our effects are going to get negated during this, so we're going to see if we can play around it. We can go Assault Synchron, synchro those two off into Shamisen Samsara. We can then go White Lord, sending itself, and milling ourselves 6 cards. We got a Gozuki in the graveyard. Then if we want, we can go Chaos Space. Chaos Space, target King of the Skull Servants here. We can add ourselves Chaos Valkyria. We can just beat our opponents to death if we try to play this correctly. We have cards. Oh, I got an idea. What if we go Chaos Valkyria? So we can banish Protoss. Chaos Valkyria to banish Protoss. So that we can activate Chaos Space to draw a card. Chaos Space, bring back Protoss. Draw a card. We draw on Unizombie, which is pretty nice. First off, what we can do, we can go Nightmare Phoenix actually. I'm thinking Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix effect. We can discard Unizombie to target ZW Unicorn Spear and destroy it. What we can then do, I mean, we can just like, can we really cook here? Do we have anything else in our grave? Oh man. Seems like just White Prince, right? White Prince Turbo. White Prince. We can go Lady in White, and we can go Baking. to special summon ourselves King of the Skull Servants. Boom. Then what we can do, we can go White Mare. White Mare to special summon ourselves Lady in White. Special summon Lady in White. Then we can go White Lord to special summon the King. Then we can go Mizuki to special summon the last King. And that should be game. That looks like game to me. That's 3k, 3k, 3k plus a little bit more at 3k, eh? Before damage calc? Yeah, we're good. Takes 500. Takes 3k. Takes 3k. Takes 1900. That's game. So, that's going second. That was really good going second, I'll be honest with you. I mean, yeah, our opponent did not have that big of a board. So we're gonna play some more going second games and see what happens. We're just gonna keep going second until we, like, come across a situation where we probably lose. Going first may be an issue, though. That's why I try to tailor it for going first as well. We're going first? Okay, great. How do we want to do this? We can do Chaos Space, actually. We're gonna go Chaos Space here. We're gonna send Unizombie to the graveyard to target Chaos Valkyria. Next up, what we can do, we can normal summon Unizombie. And here's why. Because we can trigger Shadow's Light, normal summon Unizombie. Go Shadow's Light. Shadow's Light can summon White Princess. White Princess effect. Can send White Prince. White Prince effect. Can send Lady of the White and Skull Servants, remember that. Skull Servant plus Lady of the White can be sent down. Then what we can actually do so that we can get Immortal Dragon line, we are actually going to go Chaos Valkyria here to banish Skull Servant. It's going to work, I think. Because if we go Chaos Valkyria to banish Skull Servant, that means we can still activate the effects of send a zombie monster from death to graveyard. Yes. We're going to target Chaos Valkyria here, actually. Chaos Valkyria will send White Baking. Oh, we're sending White Baking off of Unizombie. Baking is going to add ourselves White Lord, and it is going to add ourselves... We already have Princess, right? We can add ourselves White Mare. We're going to add White Lord and White Mare. We're then going to send the Lady in White. We are then going to... What should I do here? I think what I want to do is get like an Immortal Dragon line going. So we're going to go Immortal Dragon. We're going to synchro off Immortal Dragon. We're going to go Immortal Dragon effect. We're going to send ourselves... I think a Gozuki will be good, right? Either a Gozuki or Mizuki. One of them in the graveyard is fine. We're then going to trigger White Lord. We're going to send 6 cards from death to graveyard. They're not good, to be honest, but they'll do. What we can do now, if we get a level 3 access, I think that should be fine, right? You're a 2 and you're a 5. We can make a 7. That's not good enough. We can go... What's in our grave? Oh, I got an idea. We can go Mizuki here. Mizuki to summon back the Unizombie because we did not use the discard effect yet. Then we can go Mizuki. We can go Unizombie to target Immortal Dragon. To send White Mare. So that we can make Levier. Low-key. Low-key. We can special summon back the Mizuki. Right. Then what we can do, we can just link those off. We can go Phoenix. Right. Phoenix right here. Phoenix right. Question mark, question mark. I think if we do another Mizuki line, that may work. We go Mizuki here. Mizuki can target, what's another, can we make a 3 here? Mizuki to target, we haven't used White Lord effect. So Mizuki can target White Princess. White Princess can trigger. We can send Prince. Then we can go White Lord effect to summon Lady in White. Boom. Then we can go Levier. Levier can then summon back the Mizuki. Now what we can do, we can go UFD. UFD acquired. We got our Utopic Draco Futer. What's in our graveyard? We do not have another Nemesis in our graveyard, which kind of sucks. Think we can go, let's see. I'm thinking Promethean? No, we can't go, yeah, we can go Promethean here. We'll go Promethean? Promethean effect to summon Phoenix. Then we go into Amblewell. Last but not least, we have so many effects we can activate. Because if we go... I think if we go a 7 and a 1, a 1 and a 7... What's in our extra deck? We can make a 9. Can we make a 9 off of this? Can we make a 9? Can we make a 9? Can we make a 9? That's a 6. We cannot make a 9. So instead, we'll just go white here. We'll send you and you. I'll send you to the Shadow Realm. That's a 1. You're also a 1. To banish you. And banish you. That's a 1. That's a 1. And then Mizuki can summon another one. The skulls have been served. There we go. That'll do for now. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Thanks for waiting. Oh, my man's playing Sky Striker. That goes hard. Sky Striker to target UFD, go off. I tried cooking Skull Servants. He's going Sky Striker, nice. So he's playing Sky Striker, or he's playing a Sky Striker engine. He goes Afterburners to target the face of a monster, destroy it. Remember, Draco Future cannot be destroyed by card effects, but what he can do, he can negate Onsome Blue Robin, which he can do. He can negate Onsome Blue Robin, but he cannot destroy Utopia Draco Future. So what he should have done was to negate Draco Future, because it can be targeted. So he should have went Draco Future to negate, and then he can go target it negate. He's going to pop Mecha Mod. He's going to use Mecha Modules to pop so he cannot respond to his spells. Our Onsome Blue Robin has been negated, so if they special summon, we can't do anything about it. He's going Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. He's going to add a Sky Striker card, and therefore he's able to draw a card as well. He may go Linkage here. He's adding Ray and then drawing a card. So, since we can't respond to the card, even if it remains face up on the field, he can go into Ray, he can link summon off the Ray, and then we can go Amblewell here. He's going Battle Phase with Ray to destroy the Onsome Blue, or what's he doing? What is he doing? Why are you not linking? Is it because you're afraid of... He's afraid. So he's currently very afraid. Oh, he's quick effect. Okay. What we can do though, we can negate Ray effect. He's going to use Forbidden Droplet. He should have used Forbidden Droplet in the beginning. He can use Forbidden Droplet, sending Forbidden Droplet to negate my Draco Future. He's going to quick effect to special summon into, I think, Hayate. He has to go, he's going to try to attack directly, but that means Promethean Princess will trigger. He does that. Wait, is this Promethean Princess not doing the damage step? No, it is. So we're going to go Promethean Princess, targeting Amblewell, and then targeting his Kagari. We pop his Kagari. Technically, he does get to summon back Ray off of that, which does suck. He gets to go Ray. We get to go Amblewell effect to special summon ourselves Phoenix. I put freaking Promethean in the wrong lane, which hurts. I did it incorrectly. Because they're supposed to be co-linked so they can't destroy a battle. So he gets to summon back Ray. And then he can't link it off though, which really sucks for him. So he can crash Utopia Draco Future, but he cannot crash anything else. I'm gonna be honest, he should have played that a little bit differently. He does get to set back Sky Striker cards though, so this could be helpful. He goes kinda to target a card so it can't attack. He gets to go engage since he added that back, I think. He's going to go engage, he's going to add a card. He adds another Widow Anchor to probably negate my Draco Future and actually be able to not only negate it but take control of it. He activates the second Widow Anchor, targeting what? He targets Promethean. That means technically he can... Well, it's negated though. He links off the Promethean and the Kaina, I assume, to go into a Zeke. That's just what I assume, that's all. I assume you're linking off Promethean and Kaina for Zinc. And then Zeke to banish Draco Future. He cannot activate any of his Sky Striker spells because there's a monster in the main monster zone. He will be able to set, I think, during end phase. He links him off. He goes into SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight for what? He's going SP Little Knight to banish the Draco Future. He managed to clean up the board, to be honest. Oh, he then goes Airspace 0. In phase. Multi-roll gets to set a bunch of cards because he activated a lot. He gets to set 4, I think. Oh, he gets to set 3. He got an Afterburners, he has a negate. What we can do, let's see what we can do here. We can start off with Chaos Space to target our Draco Future. And draw a card. We drew a Duality, not bad. Maybe we should not have used the Ensemble Robin part. So we drew, what we can do now, we can go Arch Nemesis Protos. Because that would threaten all he has right now. That would threaten him pretty hard. We can go Protos, banishing Chaos Valkyra. I'm thinking we banish Chaos Valkyra. Ensemble Robin and Lady in White here. He has to contest that immediately. If he does not contest, we go Valkyria here. He has to contest the Protoss or he loses. Alright, so we get to send a, let's see what we can send that will probably help us right now. I think sending Baking will not help, but White Lord would help next turn. He does get to negate, which is helpful in his department, I guess. We can immediately go Battle Phase. Battle Phase, so we don't activate any other effects. He technically could have SP Little Knight, but now he can't because we didn't do anything. I've been cooked by them before. Hey, dude. I did. Okay, replay continue. I guess we're forced to attack SP Little Knight here. We can go Amblowell effect since the Lynch monster was destroyed. We can then destroy a card. I'm thinking what we should destroy is Airspace or Multi-Roll. He has an Afterburner still, which kind of sucks. I think what we destroy here is Multi-Roll. We're going to destroy Multi-Roll. We have nothing else to do, which really hurts. Maybe we should add Typhon, probably. Then we can bring back Protoss. He's not locked out of effects, we should keep that in mind. He goes Regeki here. Protoss cannot be destroyed by card effects. Technically, Promethean could have triggered if they spell summon something with our Phoenix on field, but sadly they got rid of it, so... This has been a really interesting game. Maybe we kind of pushed a little bit too hard where we could have done our Skull Servant play, but we tried to max it out and go for Ensemble Robin when we shouldn't have. He pops it to excavate 3. My thing is that we couldn't have destroyed field spell because then we would have got cooked. I don't have a level 11 light worm. Like, does that even exist? Is there any good level 11 light worms here? There's no level 11 Lightworms. He's gonna go Kagari to add back linkage. He popped his linkage. He popped his area 0 to special summon. He special summons Rose. He adds engage. He should have added linkage to do the linkage OTK. I don't know why he didn't do that. He links him off to go into Zeke. Zeke to banish. Oh wait, this isn't battle phase yet. He goes engage here. He's going engage to add linkage. I think he got us now. He got linkage. He can do linkage OTK now. He goes battle phase here. He attacks. Then he activates linkage to go into Kagari, I believe, to add back linkage. Oh, he goes... Okay. He goes Shizuku? I think it's Kagari add linkage unless he already summoned Kagari, or he only has 2. I don't know. He's put me on gotta have it right now. Currently, I do not have it. He sets 2. During end phase, he gets 2. I think it's either foolish or add back. I think he foolishes. Alright, it's on our turn. We're put on gotta have it. That is probably one of the greatest cards we could ever use right now. We're kind of in a good spot. You wouldn't believe it, but our spot's looking pretty dastardly. We can normal summon White Baking, and here's where the juice starts to flow. Normal summon White Baking. We're going to link summon into Anima. We're going to trigger White Baking. We're going to add Princess and White Mare. We're going to send Princess. Because guess what? Since we have a Lady in the White in our graveyard, we can activate White Mare. Which means we can target Lady in White. Which means Lady in White, which means all of our level 3 or lower Zion monsters are going to be unaffected by spell traps and cannot be destroyed by battle. Which means that turns off all their Sky Striker spells. We can then go White Lord, banish itself to summon King of the Skull Servants. King of the Skull Servants is summoned with 5100 attack. And then we can hit into battle phase. Battle phase, attack. They can't do nothing because King is big and they can't stop it. You can't droplet me because it's unaffected by spell traps. My level 3 or lower monsters are unaffected by spell traps, so good luck. I got 5,000 still. I mean, take your 2,400, thank you. Sky Striker activates. I'm at 6,000. Puts it in defense position. I can't do nothing with Anima right now. I wish I could make Typhon, but I can't. I'm going to set Duality, making them think it's Imperm, and then we're going to pass. Currently, we can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. All they can do now is attack Anima, which kind of hurts. So, it all depends. Only way they can win right now is by attacking Anima. If that was Link Kariba, it would have been great, but sadly it's Anima, so. We got this crazy lot going on. 6,000 attack. Can't unaffected by spell traps and can't be destroyed by battle. Sky Striker can't do nothing against that. And Protos comes back. The issue is that I can't Protos them, man. You know, I really wish I could Protos them. This is affected by monster effects though, which kind of hurts. So all they can do is go into like a Zeke or something to get rid of it, but I wonder how much gas they got left. Which means us going Valkyria to banish, us banishing Valkyria to send White Lord was a good idea. I think we're gonna die though, because Anima sadly 0 attack, which really hurts, you know. Please afterburners the Anima, please. I don't know. We're down to 4,900. Is their turn. These are 1,400. This is 1,500. He goes afterburners. Afterburners targeting what? Probably Protos. That card's unaffected by spell traps. That did nothing. He's gonna go afterburners again. Target Anima. I think I live now. All you had to do was attack Anima. What are you doing? But he gets to pop my duality, which I want in the graveyard, so that I can shuffle and draw a card. He can go Hiari, or is it he has to go Hiari, the one that attacks directly. He goes into Kagari with 27 attack, but he can't do nothing about it. He can attack in a Protoss. He can add back a card. He add backs Engage. This is quite the game. I'll be honest, I misplayed, they misplayed, but it's fun. Goes into linkage, tries to linkage OTK here. But can you really stop 6,000 attack though? This is like battle phase, tries to punch Protoss. Card cannot be, oh wait, what? Immortal Dragon effect? Special summon itself? I guess they can be destroyed. Whoopsie. Oh, except Lady in the White. Oh, my bad. It's except Lady in the White. I thought it was like a crazy combo. Oh, we died. Whoops, I forgot it was except Lady in the White. I thought it was just in general. But Lady in the White needs to be protected. But that was a really good game. Let's try again. This was really fun. Dude, this deck is so fun. Going first, going second, like, I highly recommend you try that out, is all I'm gonna say. This is a pretty good going second strategy, depending on your hand, and pretty good going first. You saw the board we had, we just got broken, that's all. So here's what we do. Oh, never mind. It all depends. So with this deck, I'm giving you the liberty to have more ceiling and engine. We're going to opt to go second now. Because this is a going second deck. It's just, if we go first, we do have some plays for it. Technically, opening both of the Lady in Whites kind of sucks, is all I'm going to say. Opening both Lady in Whites hurts the deck. Alright, well, let's see. What are you gonna cook? What you gonna cook? What you gonna cook? So this is a returning player. They haven't played in a while. They're coming back. They're going to set a card. They're going to set another card. Depending on what they have, they can stop us too. Oh no, that's set 3. Oh wait, we have quite the hand. Now, this part sucks. Having this hand kind of hurts. So if they negate us, we're kind of screwed. We can go White Princess, but all it would do is send White Baking. Or we can go Gozuki here. Either White Princess or Gozuki. But White Princess sends Prince, whereas Gozuki, we can send any one of these. So if we go Gozuki, they got a response. Do they have like Bottomless or Solemn? They have Book of Moon. Ew. They have Book of Moon. That really hurts us. You know? They want to play a slow game. I'm cool. I'm with it. Book of Moon is like the least bad thing you could do to me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Our hand was not the greatest. Oh, they surrendered. Okay, well. Alright, let's just run another game, then I'll just let y'all, you know, get the hang of it from there. Y'all already know how this deck works, I guess. I think I did a pretty good showing. If you want me to play more of these, I don't really know. Just ask me or something. Also, you know, if you made this far, just let me know what deck you want me to play or something like that. Let me know if you're enjoying this style of content or how I can improve it. Let me know if you enjoyed this deck profile or this deck. I don't know. Whoa, this guy's playing Dark Lords. Let him cook. Let them cook. I think we get cooked against this deck, or maybe we don't. I don't know if we get cooked against this, but like... So they're gonna play, they're gonna draw a card, send cards back, copy effects, a bunch of cool stuff. I'll let you know when their turn ends. Oh, their turn just ended, okay. We draw into Tuning, which is a pretty nice card. We're going to Tuning for, what do they have on the field? They have a quick effect, pay 1,000, target a spell trap, and then use this effect. We can add Synchron here, and then send a card down. We send Mizuki, amazing, use its effect. This guy does nothing. The effect that you can use is to special summon a Dark Lord. That's not bad, but like it's not crazy, I guess. What we can do for starters is probably... We can't wear Archetype yet. What we can do... I'm thinking if we special summon Assault Synchron here. Special summon Assault Synchron. Pay the 700. We're gonna normal summon White Prince. I think that's the best action here. We're gonna normal summon White Prince. We're gonna activate Where Art Thou to add ourselves a card. We're gonna add, I think, White Baking. No. We have to add White Lord in this situation. I think we're gonna add White Lord from deck to hand. After that, we're gonna synchro summon into Sam Sorrow Cat. Then White Prince can activate. White Prince sends those two cards from deck to grave. We can then, if we want to, trigger White Lord. We're not going to send like 6 cards, sadly. We're sending 4. That's not bad, but it's not good. We got Unizombie. Wait, do we have a Mizuki in the grave? I think we do. We have a Mizuki in grave, which means we can go Mizuki here. Mizuki, target Unizombie. Special summon Unizombie. Oh, we can do a Leviair line if we can summon a guy. What I'm thinking for this Leviair line is Jet Synchron to get Revolution Synchron out of our hand. Then we can special summon the Jet Synchron so we can use it for Leviair. So what we're going to do, we're going to target Jet Synchron, increase its level. We're going to go Jet Synchron. We're going to send Gozuki, actually. No, we can send Baking. We're going to send Baking. I think Baking's a pretty good one. Because if we send Baking, right, we can add White Mare and White Mare, I think. White Mare and White Princess probably would be good targets. White Mare, White Princess, send White Princess. Then if we want, we can go Unizombie, target Jet Synchron one more time. Unizombie, target Jet Synchron. Lady the White goes to graveyard. Then we can Xyz summon into Leviair if we want. This also prevents Jet Synchron from being banished. We can then go Leviair the Sea Dragon to send Jet Synchron to summon Mizuki back. Well, this technically is 5, so I don't know. Is he gonna try nibbing me? I mean, he can. I'm not complaining if you nib me, my good sir. We're gonna go White Lord. White Lord to summon ourselves Princess? Or White? I think we're gonna summon White. We're gonna summon White. I would summon Princess here, but I have a feeling something scary is happening, so I'm just gonna summon White. We're then gonna go Leviair again. Leviair summon. We're gonna go White Prince here. Banish White and Lady in White. Summon the King. King's on the field. After that, we can go White Mare. White Mare to target Lady in White. I don't know what he's cooking. To be honest, I should have lost because I didn't make UFD earlier. Because I forgot to use Mizuki as material for something, so that's on me. You know, I appreciate him letting me cook though. I really do. That set card may go hard, I'm gonna be honest with you. He's letting it go through because why not? This man is really in the bone zone, I guess. We're gonna go Nightmare Phoenix using Mizuki and you. We're gonna go Phoenix effect to discard King to pop whatever card this is. Oh, okay. You're gonna destroy a card on the field? You're destroying the King? That hurts. Destroying the King, huh? Destroying the King. We're gonna go Mizuki here. We're gonna go Mizuki to get White Princess, I think would be a nice one. White Princess on field. That means Dark Lord Ichgale can banish to use its effect. We can go Princess effect again to send the Prince. The King! The king must deliver. Sadly, we already got all the stuff we need. We can go Levier to send Unizombie to grab back Mizuki once more. We're kind of just running circles around, to be honest. Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Mizuki's back. Then we can go Utopia. If you got Nib, you would use it now. You don't. Great, we can go Future. Bingo. Future's on field, you can't do nothing anymore. We can go into Promethean. It's Promethean time, baby. Promethean effect. We can special summon back Jet Synchron, isn't that interesting? Special summon Jet Synchron of all things. So goofy, so quirky. Jet Synchron here. And then we can make Amblo Whale. Then we have a 1. Can we do anything else? We can go Mizuki here. Mizuki. We only have a level 1. We don't have anything else, which sucks. So we can just get the king on the field. Let's get the king on the field real quick. We got Jet Synchron and the king. Let's go to battle phase. We got 8k right here. 8k at the dome. He goes Ichgel effect. Targeting Rebellion, I assume. We have UFD, so we can always negate that. We can negate it, then put him on our side of the field, then we can him for 8k. Boom. Alright, there we go. Good game. Victory Screech! And that right there is the power of Skull Servants. Let's just go over it. We have so many lines, man. So many lines. This video is getting too long. If we want, we can go Colossus. We can go Protoss. We can go Omega. We can just hit him for 8k with one of these guys. We can go Tuning. We can go Synchros. We can make UFD. We can use the Amblowell Promethean Princess line. This is honestly one of the most insane ones I've made on Archetype lists. Like, this run right here, it feels something like a Skull Servants deck to me. Without being like, losing going first. Because Skull Servants going first is not strong enough. But I made this kind of work, I think. My only regret is that I would love to shave the deck down a little bit. Add more non-engine, add more good stuff like Ash Blossom, but I'm really happy with this and hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know if there's any like decks you want me to run. Let me know if there's any archetypes you want me to run. Let me know if you like this style of video. If you want it longer, shorter. Comment, I don't know. Ciao.